Hey everyone! Welcome to our final episode of Lobotomy Corporation, at least for this facility. Cause starting with the next time we play, we're burning this place to the ground and beginning fresh. Or at least, you know, continuing the burning down that Gebra had started. Because dear God, has Gebra started to burn this place to the ground. The last time we played, we suppressed the disciplinary team core and got an essential upgrade, namely the ability to have an extra of every piece of gear. But we're knocking on the door of the literal endgame, and we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 departments to finish off. 8 or more days with Aleph Ego in possession. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh wow, we're actually going to be able to get one more mission done for Extraction Team. That's huge. But before I start getting into specifics, how's everybody doing today? We actually have to rely on a fresh bumper crop of B-listers. Because we've literally lost all of our main characters. Indeed, latest. Indeed. This entire department is VODs. I can't spare anybody. We're gonna need to just conjure up some good employees. Or, you know, abide by the indignity of having non-perfect employees in positions of power. I know, the idea of it's making my skin crawl too. But we're just gonna have to live with it. We have lost our shot at perfection. We are, however, probably gonna need a... We are not doing suppressions today. Aw, stay safe, you little butt. I do not want you to get suplexed by a tornado. That would be bad. But yes, we're not doing suppressions. We're doing one last normal day, and then we're doing our first and hopefully only day 1 reset of the playthrough. Let's see, which of you guys sucked the fewest eggs? You don't suck many eggs. You're bearable. You guys kinda suck eggs, so you can go in here. And now... Jobbers! No, that's not... No. I know employees. Oh, there's the hire menu. Don't get attached to these guys. They're not sticking around for very long. None of these guys are. I mean, literally, considering we're gonna have a full factory reset on our hands. At this point, I'm just going to assign all of my ego pretty much arbitrarily. Wait, no, not disciplinary team. I would want it to be for these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And what the heck, somebody from disciplinary. Wait, no, Orang-Orang's a jobber. Honorio, there we go. Think about it this way, latest. I'm gonna need somebody to feed into the Iron Maiden. Everett, you can have this one. Let's see. 1, 2... Wait, no, because Everett has the censored. That's right. Let's switch it so instead Everett has adoration and Kana has censored. But then Kana's really not going to need the suit, so let's give the suit to Finn. Yeah, there we go. Kana, you can have the Cobalt Skull. Hold on a second. They will have as much background as the most important member of the Suicide Squad, Slipknot. Yeah, at this point, I am literally just assigning gear arbitrarily to everyone in the lower levels. I am not going to be assigning gear to many of the upper levels for reasons that will soon become obvious. Actually, you know what? No. Go. Purple and green team are going to be buck naked for this entire playthrough. While everybody else is going to be at least semi-decked out. I am not applying any of my usual caution or tactical thinking. I only have one function, and that function is equip. Well, not quite. Okay, so some of these guys are at least gonna have some sauce, but... You know what? Maybe not the magic bullet. Maybe the magic bullet is not, in fact, the best of ideas to equip people with. Even for this run. Hoon, where is your clothing, Hoon? Oh, right, insufficient justice. There we go. Hold on. Alright, sorry again about that. Where was I? Oh, right, weapon assignment. Nobody in training team has anything yet, so I'm just gonna quickly slap on... There we go. This looks acceptable. Again, I am putting no thought or focus into any bit of this, because these guys are created just to die and get through the day. That's because we have a few new abnormalities. Not everyone, but everybody of the elite kill team I brought either died or nearly died. It was not very fun for anyone involved, except for Gebra, who was having a fantastic time, and Big Bird, who was her accomplice of the day. Yeah, that's why I'm saying we're doing our full reset, Brim. Luckily, we don't have a lot left to do. Mississippi, not Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. Not quite yet. We're gonna be starting from day 1 and then on the next setup. Those who equip notes from a crazed researcher benefit from a sharp increase in stats related to temperance. You know what? I might as well do some multitasking. At this point, nearly everything we have has been fully researched, with a few scant exceptions. See, you're fully researched. You're all fully researched. This has had no research done on it, and neither has this. How much dreaming current do we have? We have more than enough dreaming current. Velasquez. Yeah, we're getting the extraction team mission done. We're buying a little bit more gear from Melting Love. We're finishing our research notes, saying that we at least knocked on the door of the endgame, and then we're outie. Who was it at? That was Velasquez, okay. Sergey, you're next. Wait, no, not Sergey. Anton, you're next. Oh yeah, right, and if we're working on Melting Love, we're gonna need to murder a few boys. Oh, and we got some more info on the notes from a crazed researcher. If forced to return the notes within 30 seconds of equipping, you swell and explode in seconds. That's not good. You know, what else haven't we fully researched? Oh, we're almost done with the giant tree sap. Not all of it, but we are almost done. So Diva, have yourself some mystery potion. But portrait is done. Mirror is done. We're not gonna mess with we can change anything quite yet. We're gonna be able to get Melting Love's suit before the day ends. Okay, cool. There we go. What else do we have? Notes from a crazed researcher, 2 minutes. How does Queen Bee work again? Honestly, her gear isn't really, like, worth pursuing from what I hear, so I'm probably just not gonna bother. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the idea of bothering with that. We're just not gonna have any bee gear. Screw bees. Jose. Jesus, Jose, you got far. Why did they even pull somebody so distant? Anthony, you go up there. You know, I'm realizing that at this rate we're not really gonna get much energy. Let's change that. Come on, Jose. It's all up to you, buddy. Look, see? Wow, Wow, Jose is not taking any damage. Holy shit. Placing an employee in the machine produces energy over time. Do we have any update on our notes from a crazed researcher yet? I don't think so. But something tells me if I put it down, I'm gonna have a bad time. I do think it's safe to get a bit more work done on the Slifu, though. Good old Slifu the Sky Dragon. Jose is dead. Wow, Jose, you were barely worth any energy. Or any research, for that matter. Holy shit. Get on in there, Harry. I may need more jobbers to fully research this thing. Oh, speaking of research, you got some more notes. If ordered to return notes without performing any sort of managerial work, your employee McFucking explodes. There we go, some more research. Once the employee is inside the machine, they take red damage, will be unable to leave, and will eventually die. This is gonna take a long time to get all the research done, won't it? I don't want to lose the team benefits, because that sucks. Hannah, head on in there. Now you see why I have so many employees with absolutely no gear on them. Well, oh, the backward clock is charged up. I think now's about time you head in there, Sergey. It can only be utilized once a day, so please use it wisely. You know what? Let's take that advice. And it looks like our notes have a bit more research to them. If you receive a certain amount of damage, you explode and the explosion covers the entire section, dealing massive red damage to everyone nearby. Meanwhile, with this, the amount of energy produced increases as time goes by. It's interesting how the damage is like almost exponential. Come on, we need a bit more use time. Enjoy this music. These are the lowest stakes you'll ever hear it. Double sick? Ah, dude, that sucks. Any updates on our notes? Okay, so it seems like we've gotten everything about the notes from a crazed researcher. I think we can put it down with no risks. Meanwhile, we do have to use the tree sap again. How much diffraction do I have? I have enough to risk it. Velasquez, have a drink, you beautiful bastard. Griffin, did you at least last long enough? This abnormality is not affected by meltdowns. That's all well and good, but we still need a few more notes, I think. So, Cedric, get on in there. This really is just gonna be slowly killing a bunch of people so I can finish off research notes. The machine will produce energy. There we go. Okay, we've gotten everything for we can control anything. Alright, no more mucking about. Let's actually play some Lob Corp. Honorio, go in here. Orang. Wait, no. Orang. Go here. Angelina. Ooh, gotta work on nothing there. Gotta get that gear up. This is basically just VOD party at this point. Anthony, hi, I believe you can do it. Oh, right, with the Burrowing Heaven, you do not want to take your eyes off of it. God, I forgot this thing had mechanics. Seems like kind of a pain to work on, though. I mean, we could probably get more out of, say, the Night of Despair. Or the Big and Would-Be Bad Wolf. Diva, there we go. Okay, that should be all of the VOD tier abnormalities tapped. Let's see what and little red, and little red. Okay, let's see what this gets me to if I tap all the VODs that aren't pains to deal with. Oh boy, and Punishing Bird broke out. Joyous occasion for all. My goal really does kind of boil down to just get as much energy as I can and end the day as soon as possible at this point. Did somebody actually get killed by Parasite Tree? I think all the clerks drop dead when the employees in that department do. Okay, Parasite Tree, who do you have possessed? Oh, some rando clerk. Can I can click on rando clerks to shake them out of it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't work on diffraction. Who has a pretty baller gimmick, honestly. It's a shame we never really, like, see many of the gimmicks. Because it turns out I'm actually pretty good at video games. Who knew? Okay, game, this alert's kind of getting tiring. You can stop now. Wait, that'll be too much, I think. It does kind of look like a Twitch chat. Guys, we have a Twitch chat inside of a Twitch chat. You know, I do love that we have the first trumpet music pretty much just going throughout the game at this point. It's kind of cool. Up, up. Oh, good. It's melting love again. Yep. Oh, do we have everything for the potion? Yes, we do, so we don't need to fuck around with potions anymore. I am going to assign employees to their workstation, and then I will promptly not T-pose, but tree pose until we're good. So once I finish that, the stretching shall begin, and if anyone dies, well, that's on me. Game Master Anthony. Diva. What other... Did anything else melt down? Oh, the train, which I am already touching. Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Only one person gets knighted, right? Actually, you know what? Yeah, you resist red a lot. You go in there. You go here. Do I have anyone on the bird? I do not have anyone on the bird. And if anyone dies, that's on me. Wish me luck! Oh, did first trumpet go away? Damn, I was grooving today. To that. No, you don't. Although the regular music is a bop too, so I can't even be that upset. And yeah, we're gonna have a green dawn soon, which isn't the worst thing to happen. I'm probably not going to pop the backwards time machine yet. Well, actually, do I want to use it on the dawn, or do I want to wait and see what noon we get? Let's wait and see what noon we get. I fully believe we are capable of handling a dawn with zero problems. God, there's almost nothing left in this facility I even really want to work. Is that sad or what? No wonder we're blowing this place sky high when we're done. Like, I've seen so many of these abnormalities. But don't worry, they're all going to get a really good send-off, because we are going to crack open their lore and read all about them. The stories from the employees. The research information. All those nitty-gritty little details. This is going to be like the Lobotomy Corp tell-all expose. So if you've got a favorite abnormality, Now's your chance. Yes. All of these delightful fellers. Alright guys, it's time to fight a bunch of shitty green robots. Did one of them appear in a department? That's hilarious. And also probably really gonna piss off the clerks, right boys? Eh, you know what? You go up here. And you know what? You stop going over there. You guys go over here. I'm pretty sure the clerks are handling these. It goes well. Nobody's died yet. You know, that we've wanted to. Oh man, I don't think we have butterflies, but we do have der Rudy Tooty Point und Shooty. I think the clerks basically soloed that robot almost. Oh no, enough of them died. Big Bird got angry. I don't want to deal with Big Bird. Sergey, you're up. And with the power of our hot tub time machine? It's like we never had a breakout in the first place, and all it cost was Sergey's life. Yep, the hot tub time machine. Ah, piss. We don't have enough required uses of this thing to get all of its research. I'm mad. To be fair, we have been dancing on the edge of death for a long time. Guys, I am really mad about this. I think we were like one use away. If I just touched it on a different day, we would have been fine. Now we're gonna have to take this thing on another day. Well, then again, taking this on another day isn't the worst thing, because honestly, fuck most tool abnormalities. Like, most tool abnormalities are literally the worst. So I'm really not going to mind if we have to take that one again, and honestly, it's not like we're going for 100%. But come on, how could I not be at least mildly nettled by the fact that we're so close to finishing out this facility? Were it not for one piece of equipment that I can only use once ever. Not even for any of the method, because we're full on the research level. It's literally just one piece of lore. At some point, I'm probably going to go for the full 100. But at least for the purposes of stream variety, I wouldn't be surprised if I took a break between beating the game and full 100. Just because by that point we'll probably have like literally over 100 hours of LobCorp, maybe more. And yes, this does... Oh, you don't know the meaning of that word, Angela. Not this playthrough. We are probably gonna have to deal with a noon. But I feel like even with my facility kind of hobbled at the moment, we can deal with a noon. Of course you can. I know, like... I remember hearing something along the lines of like 100% being like the only real ending, so to speak. Or at the very least, like the much better one. Oh, the timing of when I see it. That's actually really interesting. Do tell. Upon opening the main menu? That's interesting. I really like that. Oh, there is another abnormality I am not fully finished with yet. Does this really say everything except for when Yang escapes? Okay, there we go. Aware of when what is? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi. Oh, thank God, we're finished with Yang, boys. Yeah, I know that the game's fully finished on day 50, if I remember correctly. Jesus, it's like the one department I didn't want melting down a ton is melting down a ton. You wouldn't recommend I go right to... whatchamacall? So you recommend I do not go to library from a 50-day clear, which is not fully the same as 100% clear. I did put this back, right? Okay, I did put it back. God, I hope Orang gets there in time. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. It's gonna happen. He's gonna make it. 6, 5, 3, 2. Yeah, we took an energy hit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Queen Bee is not happy. Did we lose someone? I think we might have lost someone. Maybe. I don't know. God, I hate Queen Bee so much. Okay, so I can, but can is not the same as will understand. It's better than nothing, and I do like better than nothing, but I do also agree it probably would be very helpful to have all the details. So yeah, somewhat of a mixed bag. Get a bunch of work done. Well, yeah, why would I settle for not me? Also, I don't think we're actually getting any horrifying bee larvae. Good. I don't know how we avoided the Queen's wrath, but I'll take it. You know, as much as I'm going to be glad for a major change of environment, I am also gonna miss a lot of these guys. The players, the abnormalities. I'll even miss you, Parasite Tree. After, you know, you literally won the game for me. In the face turn of the century. You know what? Let's go, Orang. I'm sure you'll be fine. If you turn into bees, I bet their french fries can shoot the sanity back into you. That's miserable. Good luck. Also, we will be heading towards Clown Noon. It's Clown Noon. I really don't want to deal with Queen Bee throwing a tantrum, you guys. Oh shit, the night. I think we'll be able to nudge over the line before... whatchamacallit? Yeah, I think we will be able to nudge over the line before Clume begins. Yeah, having extra context will be nice. And honestly, I do want to 100% this game because A, I like completing things more than I used to think I did. And B, with all the time and effort we've put into this game, it feels like it'd almost be a shame not to. But at the same time, I do also want to be able to play other things. I think we've literally been playing this game since I started streaming since I've started streaming frequently. My dissolution? What's that? Oh. Where can I see that? Do I see that when I pull up all of the abnormality lore? Because if so, you guys will be seeing that along with everything else. Hello, Egbert. Welcome aboard. We're about to... You're just in time for me to read a bunch of in-game lore and then nuke this facility. Yep. I don't give a hot gay fuck about lob points, because we are blowing this place to the ground. A B grade, probably on the backs of all the employees I murdered. Lastly, Brim, here's a question. Research level. If I reach research level 4 on an object, even if I'm missing wait, what the fuck? Why am I getting a choice for an abnormality? Well, yeah, we're dipping our so there... Oh, so you do still get abnormalities this far into the game. Well, to quote Douanier the Rock Johnye, it doesn't matter what abnormality you pick. So I'm gonna pick Black Swan, White Swan. I'm gonna pick Blood Beauty. Okay, only 2. Long time has passed since my loved ones left with their broken bodies and hearts. We finally met after taking such a long detour. I sent you a letter one day. That old, strange letter that had the same name for sender and recipient. It told you that we would meet soon. Why do you hesitate? Please, please, come with your mind at ease. I hope this environment satisfies you. I tried my best to recreate our office. Is this A? You need at least one place in life to feel comfortable, don't you? However, I speculate that you feel this place is a bit more serene than you might remember, so to say. There are many reasons for that. This is a reflection of your heart, after all. The emptiness in your mind must be what makes this place so void. We weren't particularly fond of untidiness, but there she was, always making a mess out of an organized room. There were times when we were used to such messiness, giving up on cleaning the room. Sadly, our hearts couldn't bear to recreate such a moment. Sure that now you know. This space changes to the rhythm of your heart. This office is born from your heart, siphoned up from your deepest subconsciousness. Yes, many parts of this facility were extracted and created from our minds. How did you think building such enormous underground structures in such a short period of time was possible? We needed multiple extractions until we finally solidified amorphous images into something tangible. We repeated it so many times until the memories were blurred and the emotions were dulled, to a point where even our original sin was forgotten. Yes, there truly were countless repeats. Must have been roughly 10 years outside, while this entire facility has been trapped in a cycle for a length of 10,000 years. This eternity, it's fascinating. All humans are given only one life to live. The future comes to us like the relentless waves of the sea. We cannot go against them. We're merely pushed back. Time Track's technology can only reverse time in a very limited area. This tech was used for trivial things, such as granting an infinite moment of death to a condemned man, Jesus fucking Christ. Or to show those whose days are numbered their happiest moments. However, when combined with our energy tech, this small technology could bloom into something much bigger. We invested in them without hesitation, so they required a massive amount of funding and energy. That's how Time Track's second invention came to life. If time could be reversed infinitely, we could reach the sky that seemed unreachable. Unfortunately, breaking an absolute law of nature cost us a lot. Although we could rewind time infinitely, it's left some form of distortion, perhaps because this technology still has yet to be perfected. No man could keep their sanity intact in this place. But here you are. You've reached this point, even though you've limped and groveled along the way. Of course, it wouldn't have been possible if not for Angela, but it is a Herculean achievement that you went through that journey. Please, let your body and mind rest, if just for a brief moment. You must be exhausted. The path after this will be brutal. Extremely brutal. Us, we whom you meet again, you'll also be brutal. They will not let you pass as simply as I do. If by any chance you think you're not ready yet, it is okay to go back to the first act. If you've made it here once after such a long and hard time, you will surely come here again, no matter how long it takes. We literally have all the time in the world. There's no need to hurry. Just keep in mind that the situation will be much different if you move forward from here. You will be given harsh trials and faded, saturated questions that we could not answer. And I'm sure you already know this. You can reverse time, but you cannot reverse a tale. Erstwhile, the world in which you stayed was once luminous. There was the sun and the moon, and also the clouds and the winds that floated around them. It was a world of light, so to speak. But you just couldn't stay there, now could you? You were robbed of innumerable things. You lived with a broken heart, clinging to the void where the pieces of your heart used to be. No one could understand your pain, nor embrace you. Eternal loss, it dominated you. I was one of the thieves who robbed you of countless things. While I was at the top of the world, I watched you and looked down on your struggle. Not just you. I have seen many others that struggled. Those attempts were no less futile than an insect writhing. All I had to do was simply stomp on him a couple of times. But among us, there were some who would grit their teeth and climb up, dragging their broken bodies. It seemed that this was going to be another fun little trip, so I would drink a cup of tea before leaving with light steps. But as you can see, an unexpected encounter with the red mist, well, it got the best of me. And then you inflicted as much suffering upon me as I do you, did you not? You were familiar with how to break the mind without utilizing torture or even violence. After everything was done, you gathered up every little bit of what was left of my humanity. You threw them into the dumpster, till even my spirit soured and rotted. Maybe you told yourself that I deserved worse than that. Therefore, you're an upholder of justice who has defeated the evil, no? But I must ask, why is that grand and righteous upholder standing here, making himself out as a prisoner like I? And what happened with that coward? The one who with fear averted his gaze from my own dying one? Why is he down here, suffering the same punishment as I? See, there cannot be a sight more satisfying than this for me. Is this all that idealism of hers came to be? You've dragged down your heroine with your own hands. Do you truly believe that your duty completes itself just for shedding tears at the funeral of an innocent? While you never even let their bodies rest in peace. Ironically, you found a hope in all this misery. The raw material of the bucket. The path to the river of all. Out of her, you made the bucket. You started to send it down into the wells of the people. The bucket rises from the well of a person, filled with the water that can only be drawn by that person. An ancient fount that has been flowing at the bottom, even before the birth of this world. Now it is simply drawn, regardless of the consent of the person. When the bucket that holds the faintest ideal of hers comes in contact with the ego of another person, a certain change occurs. Maybe it's difficult to understand only by listening. How about this? I could show you one of her miracles. It's taxing, but for you, I'll gladly do it. The people selected long ago, they're all waiting their turns. I bring them here according to the register. Let me introduce one to you. This one is nameless. He has nothing left, for he has abandoned all that he is such a long time ago. For him, things like the remnants of the past or the pain of the present, those don't matter. He only stares into the future. Did you dream well? Yes, he'll finally dream for as long as you want. One that you'll never wake up from. The employees will inject him with Kagito soon. What river flows in you? What world lies in you? There are as many worlds as there are people. Discovering them is rather fun. No one must see this. That is why they adjust the level of Kagito according to my orders, keeping their eyes and their ears covered. Nobody should make direct eye contact with the drawn. But I can never dare to look away from him or to close my eyes, no matter how unbearable it may be. In the eyes of the drawn, there are the abysses that only I can endure. And there are the things that shouldn't exist in this world. This is the punishment that you've obligated me to endure. A normal person would have gone mad thousands of times over if they had to put up with this. Thanks to you, I cannot even be graced with insanity or lose my mind. All I can do is capture it. All of it. In my eyes. Now, we wait. Will it rise anew? Or is it destined to be stuck in this pillar and spend eternity with me, down in this place? We just need a little more time to find out. Now, do you finally realize what all of these pillars contain? Well, consider yourself lucky today. At times, when the level of Kagito is adjusted inadequately, some things that shouldn't even exist come up as fragments. How funny that I say this, but they're like an adverse reaction that has its price for doing something unspeakable to a human being. The bucket can rise with some impurities mixed in with what we usually draw, the abyss within humanity, the subconscious, and all kinds of possibilities. From the past, from the present, even from the future, all kinds of beings that have existed and will exist in this world. Given that they are outside of our dominion, there is nothing we could do to govern them. They float around aimlessly, resonating with the abnormalities and manifesting themselves in front of us when the moment comes. They are what you call the ordeals. Thankfully, they react to the clip-off deterrents, so we can put them to sleep like the abnormalities. But that's all we're able to do. Yes, as you have learned, extracting abnormalities is my job. but creating them is Carmen's, who you buried such a long time ago. She is the mother of all abnormalities that have existed in this facility, and of all that will emerge in the future. Tell me, how do you feel now that you know those abnormalities that you faced above were part of these pillars? It's an agonizing sight to confront, but it doesn't matter to you. Not at all. Or am I wrong? After all, erasing your memories and running away from them as if nothing had happened, well, that's just your age-old specialty. Complete the day with every abnormality currently within the facility. What? What does that mean? No, really, what does that mean? I don't get that challenge. I don't get that mission. Like, how do you lose an abnormality? Or does it mean they all... Oh! Now, theoretically, we could fuck with Architecture Team, but no. First of all, I'm seeing Suppress Midnight, and I'm saying fuck that. My one question, my one and only question, if I'm at Observation level 4, but I don't have this, does this count as all of the info being unlocked or not? Will this trouble me if I'm going for 100%? And I have all your gear. All your gear. Okay, so we will need to take the... We will need to get the hot tub time machine, at least temporarily. Honestly, we can probably mem-repause it. Like, we can take it and then do a memory repository, because I think all we need to do is poke it once. But even if we do have it again, honestly, screw most of the tool abnormalities. I am very okay with taking the one that won't mess with me instead. It certainly beats having, say, train in my facility again. Also, how do I see my abnormality completion percentage? I can't memory repository today. I mean when I take it in a future playthrough. Just take it, poke it, rewind to take something different. Okay, good to know. %, dissolution. That's actually really good. Holy shit. That's basically half the abnos in the game. Which means I think we actually have a surprisingly good shot of gunning for 100%. If for the most part I take completely different abnormalities. Let me just go to my ego list real quick and... just in case we are turning our facility into a nudist beach. Oh, word? That's unexpected. So was I directly hampering my journey to 100% by taking backer abnos every single time? Interesting. And now, guys, before we say goodbye to this facility, let's read. We are going to be checking, probably not the guidelines, but all the study records. 1 sin and 100 good deeds. Zayn. Skull Jesus. A silent abnormality that understands the conflict between good and evil. Its empty eye sockets stare at all those who encounter it. It is attached to a cross and wears a crown of thorns, and floats about 2 meters above the ground. While its appearance is bizarre, it is rare to record any incidents of violence against employees involving this abnormality. It feeds on the evil that seeps out during conversations between people. The assigned employee must kneel before it, although standing is also acceptable, and present their evil by confessing their sins to it. The way it feeds is unknown. We've cataloged the sins a person can commit to 3 levels. Level 1, a small lie or action that either goes unnoticed or can be shared in jest. Level 2, sins that are more serious and only shared between the closest of friends. And level 3, sins so profound that they cannot be shared with anyone. These must be taken to the grave. Employee Redacted has been assigned to confess a level 1 sin. Energy production increased by 12%. Employee Redacted was assigned to confess a level 2 sin. Energy production via the abnormality was increased by 15%. Employee Redacted was assigned to confess a level 3 sin. 1 minute and 48 seconds after the employee was sent in, a bright flash of light was seen. The light was so bright that it could be seen outside of the containment unit. Immediately following the light, there was a facility-wide power outage. The phenomena lasted for 2 hours. Employee Redacted lost 6 years of their memory. Further experiments were cancelled. Scientific ethics decree that the footage of all those who participated in the experiment is to be kept sealed. However, the incident left us no choice but to review the footage of the containment unit. This happened during Redacted at about 4 p.m. Anyway, there's this railway about 20 minutes from my house. Some of my good friends and I decided to dress as forest animals. One of us chose to go as a deer. It was a crude costume. Could hardly even call it one, to be honest. Just a pair of clumsy antlers and some dark outfit with some deer-like spots on it. I don't know how our deer friend wandered into the woods. We didn't even notice he was missing for maybe an hour. We searched for him and finally found him in some bushes. We called out his name, and I'm not sure if it was from relief of finally finding us or what, but he started sprinting towards us. And that's when we heard it. The gunshots. Bang, bang, bang! When I came to my senses, I saw his blood spattered all the way to my feet. After that, not one of us dressed up as an animal ever again. That's all. By the way, is this really supposed to work? Its eye sockets are empty. It is a skull after all, but I doubt it's blind. It certainly has its gaze fixed on me. I can somehow feel that it's listening to me. Confessing to it does lighten my heart, admittedly. Afterwards, we investigated the incident in the employee's hometown to get a better picture. We learned that a boy named Justin was shot and killed in a deer costume by hunters during hunting season. Unlike the employee's confession, Justin was repeatedly bullied by other kids. Witnesses said they heard the kids shout, "Run, Justin, run!" right before the gunshot. After the incident, the kids at the scene moved out of town, and deer hunting was banned in the area. Honestly, you can't expect all of our employees to give honest confessions to that skull. Around 1 in every 10 employees will say something that is not completely true. It's a bit different from a lie. You can say that it's a subconscious excuse they make. They distort perspectives to justify their actions, even though they are aware that they should be telling the truth. Once this happens, your confession is no longer truly a confession. Yes, I'm talking about you trying to justify your tardiness for 5 minutes now! Now we have Fairy Festival, another Zayn class. This abnormality is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. They act as a cluster. They use a language we cannot understand to communicate with each other. They follow a few employees around when they enter the containment unit, using their special abilities to help heal injuries. Employees call this act the Fairies' Care. The fairies protect our employees. If you often act out of the goodness of your heart and you're a lover of nature, then the fairies will gladly take care of you. Everything will be peaceful while you are under the fairy's care. You can also enjoy the envious glances you get from other employees. Not that it's important, but what if the fairies don't approach you? You should reflect on your life. When Emil and I took shifts entering the fairies' containment unit, the fairies did not hesitate to approach me. Only me, never towards Emil. You all know Emil and how he is. Why, just yesterday he refused to share his snacks with me. He's acting all high and mighty. It's a sacred act to be protected by fairies in any world. However, do not enter their containment unit just to have a bit of fun. If you've read a few books on them, you'll know that the fairies dislike those who take advantage of their kindness. The corresponding document is only accessible by employees level 4 or higher. When Walter, who was under the care of the fairies, died in the room of another abnormality, we noticed some anomalies. His stomach and face were ripped off, and his eyeballs and organs were damaged, as if eaten by something. Moreover, the containment unit Walter was found in was for an abnormality that uses psychological attacks. Meanwhile, the fairies had someone's blood and flesh smeared all over their mouths. We didn't even bother to examine them to find out whose blood and flesh they were. In our world, there are few outcomes that result from perfect kindness. Having fairies that live in a forest visit you just because they like you, or because you've done a lot of good deeds? That's something that only happens in fairy tales. Even though we know this truth, we still sometimes become deluded, thinking that the fairies' care is happening because of all the good deeds we've done, or that the fairies are favoring us because we're more special than the other employees. Truth is, the fairies are no more than carnivorous monsters, and their protection is their method to keep the meat fresh. When an employee enters another containment unit, they gobble them up in fear they'll lose their food to something else. However, employees were greatly satisfied by the fairies' care, and we saw a drastic decrease in the accident rate, so we deemed it unnecessary to tell anyone the truth. It's Puppa Day! A super fluffy, ultra cute puppy with white fur, just like fresh snow, even if it's Teth. This abnormality is so cute, just taking a short little glance at it will make you feel so much better. It has the eyes of an angel and is the purest thing in the world. Further descriptions of this creature have been omitted for brevity's sake. The rest of the sentences are essentially just saying, "It's so cute," in various ways. This little abnormality couldn't be evil at all. The only thing you have to worry about is your heart aching if you look at it too long, because it's just so cute! In fact, employees who enter this abnormality's containment unit tend to lose themselves a bit, and often need to be forcibly removed by other employees. Caution needs to be taken, as the assisting employees can also become captivated by its cuteness and get lost at wet as well. Attempts to bring the abnormality out of its unit may occur from time to time, but it's not a concern, as they are typically prevented by other employees. When too many employees want to work with this abnormality, a lottery is held to determine who gets the privilege of doing so. Our employees tend to show symptoms of mental regression, such as oddly toned speech with a high pattern upon entering its containment unit, but it seems this is only a temporary problem. Many of our employees refer to this abnormality as the goodest boy in the world, Puppa Day. However, its official designation is simply Puppa Day. Please make sure you don't get confused. Every employee who enters its containment unit must upload a video or photo report of this abnormality. This is highly, extremely, uber important. Ensure that nobody misses this step. A company this size always has a rumor or two floating around. I hear that if you can hear someone's bones breaking if you walk the hallway at night, if you try and track down that sound, you'll find a Yeti who is eating one of our employees. But we don't have an abnormality that looks anything like the Yeti. Should be thankful, dude. Got a lucky chance to work with the goodest boy in the world, Puppa Day. It's fapping me with its paws. Is this an attack? He just wants you to feed him. Don't you know it's a trend in our company to always carry a packet of dog food or two? Well, I don't really like animals. By the way, this little puppy's pretty beefy. Is that how dogs usually are? I guess this one played a lot of catch, huh? Well, we used to play fetch with him pretty often just to watch how cute he was running after the ball. Oh, we stopped for some reason. Hey, did you see its face when I fed it? It was super creepy, I swear. It's just your imagination, man. It's always like our little angel. Is it that way? Who's a good boy? Jeez, does this thing have some kind of power to mentally manipulate people? No idea what you're on about, Jacob. Do we, little buddy? Little cutie pie. Do you, do you, do you? Did you wait for me, Puppet boy? Hey, it's eating something. Aren't we supposed to be the first people in its unit today? My little goody good boy was just hungry, Man, he's just so cute. Look how he's nomming on that. What the hell is it chewing on? Shit, I knew it! That's James's finger, man! He went missing during the last patrol shift. Dude, can't you see the nail? Remember him bragging about having a heart painted on his nails? I told you, dude, that thing is up to no good. I can't believe it. Who? This abnormality's the killer. I get that you're shocked, but I told you a bunch of times there's no way such a cute pet could be harmless in this place. Man, I'm so glad you finally came to your senses. Who wouldn't feed him on time? Poor little guy must have been starving all night. It's so heartbreaking. Well, I think we're supposed to suppress it. How could you even suggest doing something so heartless? Such a cute little good boy like this. Just look at his eyes. How could an innocent animal do anything wrong? Isn't that why you good little cute boy? The abnormality shows no reaction. Only the sound of a bone being gnawed on is audible. Dude, your little angel is gnawing on our colleague's finger. What are you, a newbie? Don't you know everything cute's forgiven here? I've never heard that, and I seriously don't think it's true. We gotta tranquilize it. If you won't, I'll do it myself. The sound of a tranquilizer shot being fired can be heard. No! The abnormality begins to whimper, and the recording cuts off after a bit of shouting. Following the evidence I've provided in the recording, I requested Jacob be immediately demoted for firing such a thing at Puppet. A terrible, evil animal abuser who has no place working in our company. Our goodest boy in the world, Puppet has been traumatized. Traumatized? By this incident? He'll only eat 5 kilograms of his favorite snack now. To help him cope with the trauma, I suggest we get a new snack for Puppet. Premium grade salmon rich with vitamin B. I'll be waiting for your reply. Your requests have been accepted. P.S. In your next message, please make sure you attach 5 different photos of the goodest boy in the world, Puppet. Thank you in advance. I'm honestly surprised there isn't a gameplay mechanic revolving around his cuteness. I know he's only a Teth and they don't have much mechanical depth, but you would expect at least some sort of like, hey, you can't attack this abnormality, he's too cute. It assumes the shape of a cheval glass, but nothing is reflected on its surface. The only thing it shows is people. When facing oneself in the mirror, the subject changes. There are numerous suggestions, like the possibility of a linkage to a parallel universe, or maybe even magical powers, but none of this can be confirmed. Those who face themselves in the mirror may appear the same, but in actuality they have become completely different people. Looking into the mirror multiple times will gradually eat away at one's humanity until they become indistinguishable from a hollowed husk of a man, so caution is advised. Yo, Brian just walked right past me without saying a word. What's up with him? Oh, he took a peek at the mirror. You know, he always complained about being born too weak. Guess he finally made up his mind about it, huh? Satisfaction's only temporary, though. That was the mirror of adjustment. Next up is the Bloodbath, an abnormality who contains the pain of all those who couldn't take their sorrow in stride. It is a bath of gloomy color, topped up with blood. The blood is always kept in equilibrium. It never overflows. Only despair can be found among its sunken depths. Unbearable depression overwhelms all who look into the bath. In an instant, it can pull a nearby person into it. It bears no considerable strength, but those who suffer from its crushing depression do not resist. It devours the victim until nothing remains except for their wrists. All of the hands which float in the bath are pale, sanguinated. They stretch into the air and reach out as if asking for help. It's no easy feat to cut one's wrist with a sane mind. A strong will is needed, with the resolve to make multiple attempts. I'm gonna slap a probably too late TW suicide on this one, because I get the feeling that this is gonna get a little grisly. So, assuming that you were hearing along with me instead of reading along with me, prepare your eardrums. Only when it is sliced, as if one were simply cutting a mere slab of meat, can they achieve this. Only when one yearns for death that much can they succeed. I eternally regret not realizing to ask her why she needed that industrial knife. I eternally regret not realizing that she was hiding her wrists with long sleeves. I eternally regret not realizing that she always took extra care to hide them whenever I spoke with her. I eternally regret not realizing that I never heard her cheerful laughter anymore, that she roamed around a company with lifeless eyes more and more often. I can't even imagine how painful it would be to cut your wrist. I found that the only reason she could manage to do something like that was that she cut hers straight through. We always popped open a bottle of wine every time we succeeded. It became one of our customs. She told us it only takes one slight misstep to fall into a different habit if we get too used to success. Thus, we should always smile, rejoice, and celebrate every little thing in the wake of success. And we should never neglect failure, as success can be born from a pile of failures. When I saw the latticework of scars on her wrist, I was reminded of our wine cabinet. We'd used up so many bottles. There was only one left. That day I popped the cork off the last one. I think you're right. I think this is. I was about to get there, but you got there before I could. We can change anything. It's a Zayn. Despite this, it has one purpose, and that is murder you for a negligible amount of energy. I repeat, fuck tool abnormalities. After the popularity of the all-around helper skyrocketed, We Can Change Anything was released as the second installment of the XX Inc.'s Home Robot series. As to be expected of XX Inc.'s products, it sports a variety of functions. Is your child a troublemaker who cries all the time? We can change that. Don't like how you look? Are you too fat? Too skinny? We can change that. Is your house suffering from an outage because you don't have the money to pay for the power bill? We can change that. It's quite simple. Just open up the machine, step inside, and press the button to make it shut. Now everything will be just fine. The machine will produce energy after an employee enters it. Seeing as once inside, nobody ever comes out, it must be rather comfortable. Yeah, that was the cutscene I was thinking of. Time for the head to burst. It's Porcubus! To be frank, life in this place isn't so great. The company says they provide healthy hobbies, but not many people engage in that notion. Everyone looks for their own escape. Violence, gambling, gluttony. I thought I had strength and self-control and discipline compared to others. Did help me live a smoother life. Maybe that's the reason I was assigned to the Porcubus's containment unit. Yes, Porcubus, where the lowest of the low employees visit. I'd heard a bit about what other employees do in that containment unit. They call it the Game of Trust. Game of Trust. What an elegant thing to name it. Thank you for catching that, Suki. I'll be honest, I didn't really notice dude's lore, so yeah, potential drug TW in this one. Real talk, I kind of feel like every TW except hopefully sexual assault is just kind of emblazoned on every waking moment of this game. And thank God this game doesn't go there, at least to my knowledge. According to other employees, it wouldn't be too difficult to become intimate with it. And once I get along with it, I could acquire all of it with ease. They say when the time comes, Porcubus will lean down so I easily reach the thorns. Didn't take long until I could get where I could pet it. When I first touched its thorns, it felt quite prickly, like a giant needle penetrated my skin. But there wasn't any bleeding, and the pain went away after a moment. Then, there it was. The most intense happiness you'd ever experience. Make your knees weak. When I snapped out of it, I found myself drooling. It scared me, so I didn't go back for a while. Then the situation gets worse. I'll get withdrawal symptoms, like retching or sweating. Different employees show different symptoms. One employee even pulled out all their teeth because they felt like bugs were crawling all over them. How it felt? Can't find the words to describe it. Remember the greatest happiness you ever felt in your life? This feeling would be hundreds of times better. You say I'm the last employee in charge of Porcubus? That's understandable. The brain craves more intense stimulation. At first, all I had to do was be lightly pricked by one of the thorns. Now I have to rub my whole body against it just to get that same high. I feel like all the blood in my body will rush to my head, eventually bursting it. I've already imagined my head bursting thousands of times anyhow. I gotta get going. It's almost time for work. Actually, I'm drenched with sweat right now. Did you notice? Oh, and Porcubus doesn't show any aggression, unlike your speculation. Didn't eat us or bite our heads off or anything. All the corpses were smiling. Happily? That's all. It just makes people smile until death. No one's to blame. We have to go through hell every day. We're just having a small taste of heaven. You know what? I feel sorry for you. You've never felt these feelings, and you never will. But you have to interview an employee on the edge like me, while just pretending to be decent. Now it's time for my head to burst. Good day. And now Parasite Tree. Another Tumblr one. Well, another Kickstarter one. An abnormality taking the form of a rich tree with plentiful leaves. The leaves are lush with a rich green color, creating a comforting ambiance. A refreshing flowery scent is carried by a gentle breeze. Employees who made contact with the abnormality stated that it provided them a significant psychological comfort. Such statements were deemed truthful, as the employees displayed a visible increase in work efficiency, along with a notable decrease in mental corruption. At first I thought it was just my imagination from being sleep deprived. But as my body and my mind got more and more exhausted, the voice calling out to me got clearer and clearer. I can help you with your problem. Yes, that's right. You can help me. What was I worrying about? I can smell a flowery scent. They imported a tree. That tree, standing in the middle of the containment unit, was such a beautiful sight to behold. I could feel the scent of flowers flit across my face, even though there was no breeze or wind. Smelling that scent for even just a moment makes my attachment for the tree blindly glow. I was very intuitive since my childhood, so I could sense this artificial attachment was hazardous. Ever since then, I tried everything I could do to avoid contact with that tree, making all kinds of excuses whenever I was assigned to work on it. Well, if you put it that way, just this once, alright? Sheesh, did this tree do something to you? My colleague's banter gets stuck in my ears. Did it do something? Yes, it did, and it scares me. A few days later, that same colleague has now become a staunch worker, wearing a constant smile on his face. I knew he's always been an optimistic person, but I couldn't help but feel uneasy, because his face seemed strangely comfortable. Really? Do I seem content lately? Yeah, well, that's because the tree is helping me out, he answered lightheartedly. From my years of experience, I can say for certain that few people can smile so sincerely while working for this company. That means when someone keeps smiling at work, it's a sign that something has gone wrong. My suspicion immediately led me to report this behavior to my superior. The answer came sooner than I thought. It said I am to observe the abnormality myself and file an observation report, because there have been several abnormal behaviors related to this tree, which were identified in several other employees, not just the guy it reported. The order finally forced me to confront this tree that I had been avoiding as best as I could. I knew I couldn't pass it over to someone else this time. It was no longer the barren, naked tree I saw the day it was imported. Instead, I saw a containment unit covered in grass that seemed to be sprawling around the tree. This was peculiar. There's no way grass can grow in a containment unit. This facility is completely inorganic. Hello? Have you come to receive my blessing too? The moment I felt something was wrong, a voice echoed in my head. At this point, the writing becomes heavily distorted, so it was difficult to decrypt the contents of the diary. I don't know how I wrote the observation report. All that's certain is that I just wrote what I felt about the tree. This beautiful plant is bringing happiness to every employee who visits a containment unit. It will soon greatly contribute to humanity's quest for prosperity and advancement. But how can an abnormality be such a good influence on humanity? I just want to help you. A voice without a single speck of malicious intent echoed again in my head. Yes, you're right. You're just helping me. And if you're okay with it, could you bring all your friends who are having a hard time here? I believe I can help them too. Yes, this tree will easily bring peace to their mind. Speaking of that, newbies seem to be pretty depressed lately. Hey, I know a place that'll make you feel better. Come along if you want to. She followed me without any suspicion. It wasn't hard to bring her to the tree's containment unit. I offered her to the tree. She could get better. She will get better. You've brought your friend. You're such a good child. Let me gift you with something. I could feel something sprouting from my body. Couldn't move my limbs. No, this isn't a bad thing. I'm being reborn. With the tree. The trees entered me, transfixed me, They proliferate and become whole. I can completely feel it now. Today's shy look. The only other abnormality in this facility I don't have all the equipment for, because I forgot that we were a little short on its suit, but also fuck dealing with today's shy look. It's a good day. Are you still shy today? One sunny day, when they were sincerely drying the laundry in the yard, sadness struck suddenly. In our city, sacrifices for corporates must be highly praised, honor for their deaths. No reason for you to cry either. Rather, you should be glad. What's with that look on your face? That kind of facial expression isn't recommended in our city. Goodness, why are you making such a face? You're making others feel gloomy too. Please be more considerate. You don't live in this world alone, after all. You're very poor at expressing your emotions. You must be quite shy. Hey, try to look more pleased. That way those living on the outskirts will become more envious of us. Put a bigger smile on your face. It's not that hard. Next time, try to express yourself more clearly. It's very important to express oneself in this society. One sunny day, just like that day they sincerely dried the laundry, they dried their own skin. Everyone was finally satisfied when they showed a bright smile. If they met some people who asked what was wrong, they would respond, "I'm just shy, that's all, just shy." If one tries to look at the face behind the skin, the result will not be pretty. The space behind their skin is the only personal space they have left. Leaving it uninvaded is the last bit of generosity that this city can offer. Warning, warning, warning. You have been hit by the Baldy Bald psychological attack. If a non-bald person reads this, they'll be granted the privilege to go bald at an extremely rapid pace. Shit. If one wants to stop this from happening, they must be assigned to work on this abnormality. In addition, if you find 10 or more strands of hair on your pillow in the morning, it is recommended to peruse this encyclopedia article at least 3 times. I had an amazing dream today. What, did you win the lottery or something? When I got to work, everyone here was bald! Everyone, including you! Maybe even the people outside this corporation! I think you've been pretty stressed lately. Why don't you go take counseling? Employee Bill suffered an unfortunate accident with the singing machine that day. Right after the incident, abnormality Bald is Awesome appeared in the factory. We will cherish the memories of Bald Bill. If one comes in contact with this abnormality, they will talk or write about the positive aspects of baldness for about an hour, and ultimately make themselves go bald. If you become bald, you can save time because you don't have to wash and dry your hair anymore, allowing you to be richer than others. No adverse reactions will happen if a bald employee is assigned to work with this abnormality. The bald don't have to worry about this hair loss. If a non-bald employee is assigned, they will shave off their own hair. Bald people can even reflect light off their head and blind their opponents like a solar flare. This abnormality's goal is to make every single human on Earth bald. We won't need the light bulbs in our facility if there are more bald employees. The light reflects off their heads. This will allow us to save a tremendous amount on our budget. If a non-bald employee is sent to work with this abnormality, it will produce less energy. Did you know that every single noble in Europe during the Middle Ages was bald? They changed their wig every day. We've just added some new rules to the employee code of conduct. If you ever spot Chris Rock mocking their coworker with alopecia areata, they will be labeled as a hirsute and be banned from using the lounge for an indefinite period. They will also be forbidden from joining the company's debate club, Questioners of the Absence of Bald Barbies, the Gourmet Meetup, Octopi Over Squid, and the environmental protection group Save the Bald Eagles. These regulations will be lifted as soon as the rule breaker's hair strand count goes below 1. Lastly, I dedicate this article to employee TH, who is quietly taking balding medicine right next to me right now. A bomb shelter that completely protects its interior from all hazardous influences of the outside world, even light. The shelter still retains the memory of that day. Company P wished to construct the safest place on Earth. As such, the interior of this shelter houses a large number of non-perishable goods, which would allow anyone who stayed inside to survive for an extremely long period of time. Thanks to this shelter, the selected refugees were safely shielded from an ocean of endless screams and bloodshed. However, this shelter, while perfectly safe on the inside, alters the reality of the outside to be even more hopeless. It literally makes itself the safest place on Earth. Child of the Galaxy, our first He level, because technically we got Porcubus after him. It was a night veiled in gentle mist. A barefooted child was looking at me. He was crying, his dreamy eyes filled with sorrow. The sadness hanging on his face stopped me in my tracks. He said he lost something precious, and when I offered to help him, he gave me a big smile. A teardrop fell from the child's dewy eyes. The stars showered from the sky. The world falls into a slumber, trapped into ecstatic lullaby. That night, the galaxy descended with bare feet. I forgot about the other fragment of the galaxy. The fragment of the universe, an abnormality that resembles a child's innocent doodles. Originally, it had no stable form, and its shape would continually morph. To this day, its aspects still change, albeit at a much slower pace. Component analysis has revealed that the abnormality consists of matter that does not exist on Earth. It is notable for its metaphysical appearance that one just cannot explain with words. It often shows incomprehensible linguistic activity. One employee tried to decipher its speech. See Document 1, Employee David Song. But their mental contamination level rose beyond the limit within several days. They suffered severe psychosis and had to be quarantined. The abnormality's tentacles, which are quite different from what we consider the average tentacle, for simplicity's sake though, we've monikered them as tentacles, can pierce through the barrier of humanity. Employees impaled by the tentacles will suffer semi-permanent brain damage. What does semi-permanent brain damage even mean? When the abnormality escapes its containment unit, it will emit noises in the corridor. As the sounds it makes have what can be considered a melody and syllables, we consider it to be singing. However, none of our staff can precisely remember it, given that most of the time they are unable to describe it due to their serious brain damage. Those within 100 meters of the singing called it a sound unheard of in this world. Because of these descriptions, we've titled it Echoes from Beyond. Jesus, this abnormality has a lot of lore. Experiment 1, the possibility of communication. We have determined this abnormality has a crude intelligence, similar to or even higher than that of humans, and gave it a simple learning course. As a result, a crude communication by combining words has become possible. The following is a segment of the communication record with the abnormality. Are all of your kind similar in appearance? Negative. Outside. Child. See. Picture. Face. Happy. Change. Form. Why have you come here? Knowledge. Share. Human. Why do you want to share your knowledge with us? Understanding. Knowledge. Moment. No. Universe. Coincidence. Negative. None. This is an attempt to decipher the conversation with this abnormality. It based its form on a picture drawn by a child. It changed its form because the child's expression while drawing it was happy. It has come here to share its species' knowledge with us. The moment we fully understand that knowledge, we will know their ultimate goal. There is no such thing as coincidence in this universe. After watching a video about laughing for 30 minutes, the abnormality understood the concept of laughter. After that, when employees entered this containment unit to work on it, it would sometimes emit a strange noise with what appeared to be a smile on its face. Looked as if it was mimicking laughter. We taught it the meaning of various symbols along with language. Among them was the shape of a heart. This symbol provoked a distinct change from the abnormality. This is the symbol of the heart. Many people believe that emotions come from the heart, and the symbol is used to express positive emotions or a liking towards someone. Afterwards, several symbols resembling hearts were seen on the abnormality's body. It seemed to understand that the symbol could be used to express friendliness towards humans. Combining the results of the previous two experiments, we can confirm this abnormality is non-hostile to humans and it wants to be friends. David was famous in his department for his attempts to communicate with the fragment of the universe. He was an intellectual who enjoyed reading philosophical books and gazing at the stars. He held interest in the abnormality, and as such he got the job. He researched its language and behavior purely out of personal interest. So what became of David? Eventually, he succeeded in entering the domain of the fragmented universe. However, it was obvious that his small brain could not withstand it. He was transferred to the psychiatric ward and died of starvation while singing an unrecognizable song. This is why the abnormality's voice cannot be revealed to the public. Why didn't you tell me earlier that the abnormality was responsible for their condition? I have no idea if there's any pattern, but they all show the same strange behavior on the exact same days. Can you imagine a group of patients staring at the sky with dazed faces, wailing strange noises in the corridor at night while everyone is asleep? I've had such a difficult time persuading the other patients that they must have been practicing for the company's upcoming Halloween event. Psychiatric treatment and medicine won't help. Coming, still coming, they keep repeating. And anything else they utter is not from any language we know. I think sending them to a general hospital was an unwise decision. Here we go. It takes the form of a young boy with big eyes and skin that resembles the night sky. The child shows great enjoyment when talking and playing with others. He has a strong attachment to the act of making contact with another. If the child and employee reach a certain level of intimacy, he will give a small pebble to the employee who he now considers his friend. That employee will feel happiness and vigor while in possession of the pebble. However, this pebble will do more than just good if the employee happens to enter any containment unit other than his. If an employee in possession of one of the child's pebbles, this sign that their strong friendship dies, he will show deep grief and sorrow for their loss. I looked into the child's eyes for a while. I may have spaced out for a bit because his eyes were so dreamy. I wanted to pet him, but I remember my coworkers telling me to have no personal feelings towards the abnormalities. I told him my name. He repeated it with wide eyes as if he just found out a big secret. Each time he called my name, it felt like it became something more than just a familiar thing I'd been living with. When another employee entered the child's containment unit, he did not follow that employee and looked for me instead. I felt basely triumphant after hearing about that. The kid follows me, not you. The moment I entered the child's room, he jumped into my arms crying. When I finally set him down, he shed a tear that became a small white pebble that fell in my hand. Please don't lose it, and don't give it to anyone else, the boy mumbled. Do you like it? More than you like me? The boy quietly asked when I arrived after finishing working with another abnormality. I asked how he knew what I was doing, and he answered lightly, "Isn't it obvious? I know everything. Whatever you do, wherever you go." His gaze lay on the pebble, and then he smiled. His eyes gave me goosebumps. I tried to rid myself of the pebble, but I realized it was beyond my control. I don't get what I'm talking about right now, but... You still treasure it, right? The child smiles at me. Smiles, 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 smiles! I can't get this pebble off of me. My only hope is to wait for the child to tire of me. I'm waiting for that day. Will it ever come? People tell me I'm an excellent employee. Idiots. They don't know a thing. Shut up! I can't take it anymore. I can't escape him. I thought I was in charge, but the truth was I was just a pebble in his hands the whole time. Whatever you do, wherever I go, I hear his whispers. I have to end it, but I'm not even sure if I can. I came from afar. I'm so glad to meet you. Become a pebble and let's walk the galaxy together. I hear his whispers and breath. Pitch black darkness follows. Just like the night I met him. Little Red Riding Hooding Mercenary. I'm a pro. If you can make a request, I might help you. I used to be expensive. I'll cut you some slack here, under one condition. Hand that dreadful, cunning bastard over to me if you ever see him. I'll hang his head over my damn bed. Only then can I get up in the morning without having a nightmare. An imposing abnormality taking the form of a female warrior with a striking red hood. Her frayed hood has initials embroidered on it, unreadable due to the damage it's taken. Many patches have been seen on the hood, suggesting it to be rather well worn. According to her claims, she used to be a mercenary before coming to this facility, wandering around without any fixed residence. She doesn't trust easily and has an extreme fondness for battle. She's unusually uncomfortable with her face or body being exposed, or looking at a mirror. Other numerous symptoms of paranoia have been observed in her behavior. She has a strong desire to resolve emergency situations when they break out. She calls it a request of some kind. Since this behavior consequently helps management, the company recommends putting it to use depending on the situation. The following contains information employees of every level should note. When she encounters the big bad wolf, the situation changes drastically. She'll undergo several psychological transitions, including sudden depersonalization and intermittent explosive disorder. This encounter leads to serious collateral damage, so it is advised to avoid any case where the two may face each other. Between us, there's no victory to be won. All I can think about is how I'll kill that bastard in a way way more gruesome and painful than last time. There's no toast to raise. There's no delicious cakes to eat or wine to drink. I got used to grinding the axe instead of picking flowers when I was just 15. Now we have the Happy Teddy Bear, an abnormality that resembles a large, raggedy teddy bear. It's missing some fur and has but one eye. The old ribbon around its neck hints that it may have received much affection from its previous owner. There's a name on the ribbon, but it's too tattered to be discernible. It seems to know that it has been abandoned, and it looks dejected. I was on the night patrol. I didn't feel the need to pay attention to Happy Teddy. It's usually harmless for the most part. I just looked in that containment unit to check on it. Teddy was hugging someone tightly. I thought it was Redacted, the employee in charge of Teddy for a while, working late. Something was odd. I entered the unit and called Redacted's name, but they didn't answer. I immediately pressed the emergency button to call for reinforcements. Turns out, Redacted's been in a coma for 8 hours. They were in Teddy's arms the whole time. Remember what was written in the employee manual? Do not have personal feelings towards the abnormalities. At first I didn't get what it was supposed to mean. Does it even make sense to develop any emotion towards those monsters in the first place? It's okay. They're monsters. We can call them that. Happy Teddy Bear was the second abnormality you took charge of. I guess you must have thought that not all abnormalities are monstrous after seeing it. Figure of an old, abandoned teddy bear. Must have brought some old memories of yours up. Teddy seemed to like your hugs. Yes, actually. Produced more energy when you were around. And in no time, they put you in charge of Teddy. Probably felt some kind of responsibility for it, huh? Started getting worried as you were visiting Teddy's unit more and more often. Felt like you were visiting an orphanage for volunteer work. Seems Teddy saw you as its new owner. Maybe you would have been happy to hear that. You see, Teddy never wanted to be separate from its owner, ever again. You probably promised you'd return. I couldn't understand. I heard you miraculously survived, and that they spent an hour trying to separate you from Teddy's embrace. Others might forget about you, but I'll always remember you. May there be a miracle. The Portrait of Another World. As time passes, people change. We may become disabled, lose our minds, be consumed by overwhelming violence, or just be willed to disappear, never to be seen again. This portrait encaptures a moment. It is when we are destined to lose. Those who see their healthy self will subconsciously begin craving. Life could always be like that. If only I could always have a bright smile, just like this portrait. One will start to feel strange. They'll be unharmed in any shape or form by attacks. However, others will bear their pain instead. Little by little, the portrait turns uglier and uglier. Eventually, one stops viewing the portrait and just enjoys her unexpected luck. However, no miracle lasts forever. When all those who bear one's pain perish, it is their turn to die. Once the person who thought to themselves to be the luckiest person in the world meets their demise, the portrait turns blank once again. Now we have Yin, and I'm gonna break the order to read Yin and Yang together. This black pendant is darker than any other shade of black, the most obscure of all forms of darkness in the world. Employees should not touch or possess the pendant. Merely looking at it makes one feel as if darkness is creeping into their heart. It seems this pendant originally made up a circle, yet it is now separated from its other half. Many employees call it the Devil's Pendant. Some say just looking at it will fill your mind with negativity. Employees dislike being anywhere near this thing. After all, it's the polar opposite of its better half. Many would let out similar complaints that all end with the same result. We wish this is only the white one. Hold on, my cables are all tangled up, I think. Okay, untangled, good. We wish it was only the white one. Its surroundings erode. Those who come near it suffer. This wasn't a result of the pendant's own volition. These things only happen because of the aura it exudes, and then it wonders, why do I exist? If my very existence corrodes my surroundings and brings suffering and darkness to whoever interacts with me, maybe I shouldn't have been born at all, just like they say. Maybe my creator only wanted to make the white pendant and I'm just some unintentional accident. So how can such an impure being disappear from the world? One day, the black pendant heard a call. Now the day has come. It is time for us to reunite. The black pendant left the place it thought it would never leave, and it found itself swimming away. Everything it passed turned to ruin. Destruction was but an instinct. It wasn't stopping something that could be stopped, nor could it be hidden. It could see the white pendant. No. It could see the part of itself that it hadn't seen in such a long, long time. The two opposites swam towards each other. For the first time ever, the black pendant felt meaning in its existence. We used to be one. I am, and thus you are. You are, and thus I am. We were originally together. It was a fruitless deed to divide us. Now you become the sky, and I the land. An employee who had a face covered with cheerful eyes began to grimace at their sudden burst of sadness. An employee who was quietly crying from having their heart broken dried their tears. An employee dragging along their broken legs stood up straight, as if they always could. An employee who was on their way to the lounge suddenly fainted, bleeding from every place imaginable. As the end circles back to the beginning, those who held hope are met with despair. Those who held despair are met with hope. At the end of the beginning, the dragon, which now became a great avatar, soared through the sky. Hello again, River! Half of a pair that is missing each other. It reduces the mental damage the wearer has to bear. Because of this, it is called the Angel's Pendant. Those who came near it yearned for its energy. They said it cleared their minds and gave warmth to their hearts. However, they feared the black pendant. I sure wish every abnormality was helpful like this one, they would say, sighing. Yet it didn't understand. It was never intended to help others. That was simply what it did. However, the world is much more than simply warmth and light. The sky exists, for so does the land. Darkness exists, for so does light. Life exists, for so does death. Hope exists, for so does despair. The black carp swims towards harmony. The white carp swims towards chaos. Sorry. What will happen when those two fish meet? Now we have the red shoes. A pair of elegant women's shoes. Their design is antique, but there's no telling where and how they were made. It overwhelms the mind with the urge to try them on. The changes that occur from wearing the abnormality are first visible in the eyes of the wearer. The next observable change is that the wearer is unwilling to take off the shoes. They will also act upon any and all desires that they may have subconsciously suppressed. If someone attempts to hamper them from acting on their desires or tries to take off the shoes will control the host. This sometimes leads to murder. It is unknown whether the host's will is even involved in the process, but taking into consideration the sharp increase of one's desires and aggressiveness, the host's primal urges seem intact. Wow, a lot of lore here too. Redacted was a nice person. Well, they were also kind of a celebrity. They always told us our job was something to be proud of. They knew how to deal with all kinds of abnormalities. But it was our biggest mistake to let them enter that containment unit. We never thought a pair of shoes of all things would do any harm. At some point, Redacted was wearing those shoes, grinning from ear to ear. It was, well, it was kind of strange. That wasn't a smile. It was omitted. Blood was all over the place. tapping of the shoes echoed in the corridor. I just closed my eyes and played dead. I saw one of my colleagues' heads rolling around on the floor. Oh, wow. I can see why they changed that, because I don't even think there's a gender option anymore. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The shoe stopped right in front of me and stood still for such a long time. Eventually they moved past, and that was right when I passed out. I heard they couldn't take off the shoes and had to cut their own legs off. No one ever saw Redacted again after that, but those who have been here long enough recall the incident. So work on your part's all done, right? I just finished mine. Little match girl still in the same state. It's just so frustrating. Wanna grab some coffee at the lounge? You know, Redacted One, there's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Let's talk when we get to the lounge. I'm just too tired right now. Hey, you wearing shoes? Only staff footwear's allowed during work. That's not important, Redacted One. What's important is that we're alone at the moment. What are you talking about? Wait, what exactly are you wearing on your feet? You didn't wear it, did you? Redacted One, I've loved you for a while. Take it off now. Don't you realize what you're doing right now? I was thinking about why you wouldn't love me back. It's Emily, isn't it? She's not good enough to be redacted. You were so busy looking at Emily that you didn't even notice me, right? Is that an axe you're holding? And you're bleeding from your ankles. Redacted 2, I'm begging you, please take that off. So all I need to do is get rid of Emily. Oh, wait here for a bit. It won't take long. You have to stay still till I get back. Please snap out of it, please. If you wanted to stop me, you should have done that the first day we met. Redacted 2 stunned Redacted 1 with their axe and went to the lounge. Fortunately, no one else besides Redacted 1 was harmed, including Emily. Redacted 2 was soon removed from the company database. They were entirely aware of what they were doing. They admitted that the shoes only encouraged them to do what they already desired. Response team handled the suppression of Redacted 2. Afterward, the Red Shoes ran away, tearing Redacted 2's ankles off their body. It took a total of 23 minutes for them to be suppressed, contained, and returned to their containment unit. Redacted 2 died of excessive blood loss. Redacted 1 only sustained minor injuries, but elected to resign due to excessive psychological trauma. We received a report that employee Redacted was allured by the shoes and was roaming the corridor. We immediately ordered F3054 to suppress her. She was a veteran employee with vast experience in suppression. We expected her to suppress just an employee without any trouble. But she didn't return. Employee F4002 was unconscious with both of her ankles severed, while employee F3054 was maniacally trying to remove the shoes from the severed feet. So this does seem to keep around the legacy description, so it seems like that's probably how it would have worked if they didn't change that, but yes, I do agree. Good for getting rid of the gender beyond suggestion, in my opinion. An abnormality that takes the form of a giant spider, the spider bud, guarding its domain in darkness. It's difficult to see the abnormality with bare eyes. Small spiderlings skitter around the floor. Our proud employee, Peter, entered the abnormalities containment unit one day. When he shone the flashlight on the floor, small little spiders skittered away from the light. When Peter squashed one of the spiderlings by accident, a giant enemy spider descended from the ceiling. Peter was dragged to the ceiling in but a moment. The cocooned employee hanging off the ceiling in a containment unit will be a healthy meal for the spider bud's offspring. Unsurprisingly, not a single employee volunteered to retrieve the corpse of their cocooned colleague. Fact from an Animalix encyclopedia. A fact often overlooked by many is that victims trapped within a spider's cocoon are not actually dead. The prey is in fact slowly dying within. Their death is postponed, so they can be kept fresh for later consumption. A spider's poison contains a toxin that permanently damages the heart, eventually leading to death. Insects, trapped in the pitch-black cocoons, have no choice but to wait for the spiderlings to feed on them, feeling their heart beat slower and slower. Excerpt from Chessed's letter. We do appreciate your suggestion. However, our own research indicates that your concerns are unlikely to be true. Furthermore, it is proven that the presence of a cocoon in the containment unit increases the energy output. For these reasons, we will not implement a rescue procedure for employees who are caught by Spider Bud, as it is against our interests. However, we will allocate more resources into researching the specimen in the future, per your opinion. Please be advised that disrupting the atmosphere of our workplace by spreading unconfirmed rumors is against the code of conduct, and may even be subject to penalties, including dismissal. Lobotomy always values the welfare and voices of its employees. Head of the welfare department, Chesed. That makes sense, and I dig it. There's an eerie rumor spreading among employees. It's not out of the ordinary for a rumor or two to spread in a company like this, but it is interesting that the number of alleged witnesses seems to multiply. The rumor says the following. Whispers can be heard in the containment unit at night. The voice of Alex, who went missing a few days ago. They say the voice wept in terror, asking to be saved from the darkness. The giant tree sap. The sap of a nameless gigantic tree that roots itself on the edge of the world. According to the exploration team, there were a large number of life forms around it with a scorched green tint. This was because the sap makes them satiated and contains potent healing agents. However, some employees who drank the sap melted, leaving smoldering green remains. Other various experiments confirmed that the probability of melting rapidly increases as more sap is consumed. Many wondered how such a large tree could prosper all the way out in the barren outskirts. The life forms who consumed its sap became nutrients, sooner or later. The tree simply reaped from what it sowed. A queen lives alone in a frosty winter forest, the Snow Queen. Like how every story starts, Kai was a child with a kind heart. When the shards of a mirror made by an evil family were scattered on everyone's heart, Kai began to see things he did not want to see or even needed to see. He left the small village he grew up in. Throat. In an unforgiving blizzard, Kai met the Snow Queen. He became curious of the world beyond his knowledge. He felt as though everything he knew amounted to so little. The snow palace he reached was so cold, but the Snow Queen's kiss froze his heart, and he couldn't feel the cold anymore. There was no joy in this palace, only the long winter night. Gerda was strong enough to remain unpierced by the mirror, and brave enough to go on a journey to rescue Kai, so she set off towards a palace of snow. The journey was agonizing. Gerda was hurt and pained. Sometimes she cried. However, eventually, Gerda met Kai. Spring arrived with blossoming roses. Its warmth melted the Snow Queen's palace, and the piece of the mirror in Kai's heart evaporated without a trace. Then, left all alone, the Snow Queen omitted. I remember the day we put her in the cryo coffin with our own hands. At some point, her joyous laughter was gone. She just cycled through laughing and crying. Eventually, she was found in a bathtub soaked in red with her wrist cut. We did not believe in death. I will have her reconstructed from the machines I detested for my entire life, but have become the only answer. She would have been disgusted by me for this, dying in that bathtub. However, we were too far down the road filled with remorse and regret to feel any sort of guilt. One day, it spoke to me. I remember you. You were a kind-hearted person. The moment I heard it, I was seized by the urge to destroy Angela. What I had created with my own hands. A small and confident bird that punishes the evil, guilty, and all sorts of irreverent people. Punishing bird. Some employees have said that it is cute when the bird mightily flutters its tiny wings. People have been committing sins since long ago. Why do they commit sins, knowing it's wrong? The small bird wondered. It must be because there's no one to punish people for their misdeeds. If someone takes that role, then no foul act will happen in this world ever again. With this in mind, the little bird left the forest it had been living in and never came back. Beauty and the Beast. A self-loathing abnormality that spends every day letting out miserable screams. It wishes to break the cycle of its curse, but there is no way to do so. Beauty was once a fair lady with charming green eyes. One day, this poor lady learns of a job opening at the manor of the Count with the promise of hefty payment. The Count had a monstrous appearance. Rumor says anyone who dares enter his manor is never seen again. It must be that hideous monster preying on people. With that thought in mind, she brought a very sharp knife with her. The lady was hired and worked at the manor. Contrary to the rumor, the monster was nowhere to be seen. Sometimes at night, she could hear a voice. It was very kind and compensated her for her troubles handsomely. Working the manor, the lady bore a greedy thought. If the Count was gone, I could take his possessions for myself. One day, she went inside the Count's room, the room that she was instructed to never enter during the day. There, she saw the Count's true form. He was truly horrendous. Hundreds of eyes, 4 legs, neither human nor animal. The lady thought, perhaps such a hideous monster would be better off if it didn't even exist. She proceeded to stab the beast with her knife. Surprisingly, the beast laughed in its final moments. Before the lady could even ask why it was laughing, she began to change. Hundreds of eyes formed and a thick coat of fur grew on her. Soon she had turned into a beast. Now the manor and all of its riches belonged to her. Rumor says anyone who dared to enter the Count's manor was never seen again. An old clock, the backward clock, an old clock manufactured by an unknown company. Its vacuum tubes give off a vintage vibe. The manufacturer stopped making these a long time ago. Is your future totally grim? Have you hit absolute rock bottom? Not a single way out in sight? Have you ever thought, oh man, what if I did this instead of that? Humanity has conquered disease and nature. Now we have come far enough to harness time itself. Yes. We can rewind your wasted time. Just wind it up, close your eyes, and count to 10. When you open them, you'll be standing at the exact moment you wish to be in. Please read the manual thoroughly. You'll never know what an extremely high voltage discharge from a machinery could do if handled poorly. We are not responsible for any accidents that may occur from user error and carelessness. The clock requires a higher amount of energy to operate. Please understand it will take a considerable amount to charge. Ooh, doing those really quick product disclaimers is hard. Now we have the Dreaming Current. Just keep showing him the book. Oh, and it has to be a page with pictures because he probably can't read. When the experiment seems to drag on, try to draw his attention, like mimicking sounds. I don't need to know every detail, right? Thank you. Yes, I know. It's unfortunate. Pitiful and sad. I do feel human emotions, thank you very much. However, he ultimately survived thanks to this place. I hope he continues to live in any shape or form. If you're thinking the same thing, it'd be better if you drop that guilt right now. Tell the kid today's treat is going to be grape-flavored candy. It's his favorite. Contrary to popular belief, most sharks are small in size. There are only a handful of species that can cause harm to humans. After all is said and done, the biggest appeal of sharks is their strong jaws and teeth. A shark's jaw can apply an intense amount of force, about 20 to 30 times that of an adult human. Besides, their vision and olfactory sense are extremely well developed, allowing them to locate their targets easily. This is why sharks could reign as the ocean's apex predator, baby. Parents had long deserted their child. They said an old infection would kill the child before 2 years passed. The researchers were the child's new parents. He learned to coo and walk. Although unable to talk properly, the child liked the ocean. Instead of visiting the ocean, the child was given candy which let him see the ocean. Many colorful nights and days passed. The child, thought to die within 2 years, managed to live for a long time. As always, he loved sweet candy, followed them, and loved the place like his home. Though the only thing the child could do was run around inside of a cramped lab instead of a grass field under the sun. Its shapes were shaky, but filled with enthusiasm. Excited about what kind of candy he would eat tomorrow. Jesus, Censored has a lot of lore for something that's completely blotted out. Any attempts to describe censored will cause severe mental corruption to both the speaker and the listener. Therefore, it is forbidden to record any depictions of the appearance of this abnormality. All audio and written records should be inspected to ensure that such depictions are deleted from them. All work pertaining to this deletion must be designated to level 5 or higher employees. Excerpt from the audio record. Yeah, it's a shame we have to send such a capable employee like you to its containment unit. Got any last few words before proceeding? Of course, I say last words, I just mean a precautionary thing. It can't be helped. I'm the employee with the highest resistance against cognitive breakdown. I've been apathetic towards everything since I was a kid. People often said I lacked empathy and wasn't normal. However, when I got to work here, my abnormal ability became the key to save everyone. This is something that can never be experienced anywhere else. Now, let me say this again. While it's true you have the highest resistance among employees, that's only based on human standards. If you begin to suffer from a surge of intrusive thoughts, or you decide to count down from 10 but fail to remember what a 10 even is, or feel an uncontrollable regurgitation of vomit or saliva, or if this place starts to feel like somewhere else other than the company, or you suddenly feel insignificant and think suffocating is your only hope, you need to leave the containment unit immediately. If you tell me that one more time, it'll make it 13 times you've said that now. But we can't monitor you in real time. All the cameras are off and your audio record will only be updated once the work's finished. Look, I'm worried about you. Why don't you repeat the instructions I gave you a bit ago? Go in, don't do the work myself, accompany employees censored and observe the work process, and record everything that happens, even if censored is danger. Do not attempt rescue unless ordered otherwise. Am I correct? Exactly. Now our contact's gonna be cut off in 10 seconds. Good luck and Godspeed to your record. I have no regrets. I'd say I'm pretty lucky compared to the others. At the very least, I get to leave my last voice record. Well, I say last only as a precaution, but... Alright. Your record's gonna be eternally archived, and all our fellow employees will remember you. 3, 2, 1, and end receiving. Randy, that looks just like our censored from a long time ago, doesn't it? Oh, I forgot for a moment that only I can see this. Employee censored who was with me became censored. It looks like it can even breed. Employee censored who was with me became censored. This is just like the process of censored. I feel a little sick, but I'm good. A small censored came out of employee censored. Oh, I can't believe this. Now it's starting to censored employee censored. Employee censored is screaming like censored. The cries. Can you hear them? It reminds me of censored. Now I see. This is how a censored. This is the reason censored exists. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't even move. It looks like censored has made me its next target. Soon, I will censored too. It's getting closer. I'll put the recorder in my censored. How I hope this record will help everyone. Even after we adopted a cognition filter, many of our managers have lost their minds. Half of them are gone because of censored. Even if we raise a cognition filter to its maximum setting, at the risk of having our employees and other abnormalities be perceived as extremely simple objects, the managers will still be driven insane as soon as this abnormality comes into sight. We can't make our manager blind just because of one abnormality. We are stuck in a dilemma. The only solution we could come up with was at the suggestion of one of our employees. It was to cover the abnormality with a giant set of sensors and blurring. If a flaw in our system disables the sensors covering this abnormality, we will once again have to sincerely consider how to dispose of our manager. Devil ultimately wished for despair. For despair wears down the mind and drains one will to go forward. When one feels there's nothing left to go for, the soul falls down to hell, the devil's domain. That's why the devil finds it more entertaining to watch people fall into despair rather than just kill them. We call it selling one's soul to the devil. When a marksman received a gun from the devil proposed a childish contract. The last bullet would puncture the head of his beloved. The moment he heard that, he sought and shot all the people he loved. Then he told the devil, this magical bullet can truly hit anyone, just like you say. With the last bullet gone for good, the hunter traveled to numerous worlds. Sometimes he helped those in need or fought evil, but it was all done on impulse, not some gesture of goodwill or ideals. In one world, he was called a righteous hunter, in the other, a bloodstained gunman. One day, the marksman realized the devil no longer followed him. He pondered why, and then he realized that his soul had already fallen to hell from the beginning. The contract had already been fulfilled, so the devil left. The marksman, now a devil himself, continues to pull the trigger to gather the soul of the others. Just as the devil said, the bullets will puncture anything you please. Forever. This is arguably like one of the main abnormalities of the series. Nothing there. An abnormality whose appearance resembles a human, but cannot and should not be human. In a mechanic that we have never encountered because the way of triggering it is honestly convoluted, it periodically devours employees and wears their shell. The skeleton and organs are misplaced during the process, so it takes a bizarre form. The abnormality does have a tongue, however it has no knowledge and as such cannot talk. It can only make meaningless sounds. There's no telling what's inside its shell, but its skin continuously wears down, so there is a need to change and maintain the outer layer. It's insensible to pain. It can break its own bones or cut itself up to escape through a small crevice. Bit by bit, we discover this abnormality may be evolving. It demonstrates behavior similar to the person who used to be its shell. It even makes attempts to equate itself with human beings. When it escapes, it wears the skin of the person it killed and mimics them. Then, without any sign or forewarning, it reveals its true form. In its true form, its resemblance is much similar to that of humanity in comparison to its earlier form. The new form is confirmed to possess bipedalism, properly aligned organs, and the addition of much greater physical strength. All employees are afraid of this form. A warning of something. If it has been confirmed that it has escaped and stood on 2 feet, there is only one thing you can do. Straighten up your posture, gather your hands neatly, and pray to whatever you believe in as you observe the situation unfolding. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, nothing there observes us. Then it puts on the shell of an employee and thinks itself as the employee that just died. The sight of that thing eating one of us is horrifying beyond words. Just trying to think about it might drive me mad. Heading to its containment to check the state of its shell is a toil on your mind, too. Imagine that a colleague of yours who you chatted with just a few days ago is now sitting in that room, neck snapped, guts exposed, walking on all fours and drooling like a beast. Damn, there is a lot. That's not all. When I was still a new employee, no one was willing to enter its containment unit, so I was forced to go work with it. It looked even worse then than it does now. It's in the shape of a horribly deformed human. What's worse, it tried to mimic humans, doing stuff like looking into a mirror, mumbling to itself, or trying to fix its skeletal structure, as if it was always trying to mimic us. Who knows? It might get good enough to casually walk among us one day. Warning, only employees of level 3 or higher are permitted to read this. This is a call from the containment unit's emergency phone line. Phone systems are installed in every room if employees risk key or higher to enable quick threat response. Please pick up, please pick up, please pick up! This is the containment unit of nothing there. The Erd. Hello, this is the emergency response team. What's the problem? I need a stun gun right now. There's an emergency happening right now. Can you please specify the reason? The abnormality. Sounds of breaking can be heard. Tripping up the employee. Excuse me? It's killing my colleague! We'll respond immediately. Please identify the employee being attacked. It's, wait a second. Name's redacted. Control team. I'm redacted. Also control team. Confirmed. What's currently happening to your colleague at this exact moment? Yeah, please just hurry. Do you need a weapon to control the abnormality? A loud noise can be heard. Presumably the scream of the colleague. Oh god, this is... What's happening? The abnormality is attacking my colleague. It's literally ripping them apart. I can't do anything. I repeat, we need a weapon to control this abnormality. The emergency response team has been dispatched. They'll arrive shortly. Redacted? What's happening now? Is it still attacking your colleague? Yeah. Oh no, I think it's done now. Has it stopped attacking? No, I mean, my colleague. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead alright. How can you be so sure? Well, it's because he looks... Has he been ripped up somehow? What body parts are damaged? All of them! Is that the same counseling log? No, it's a slightly different one. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, nothing there observes us. River, unfortunately... Oh wait, that's fortunate for you. Now you have your name back, River. Because the Lobotomy Corp River died in the Gebra incident. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, nothing there observes us. Then it puts on the shell of an employee and thinks of itself as the employee that just died. It mimics the employee's usual behavior, the way they talk, likes and dislikes, and every other visible trait. We can only guess how carefully and for how long it has been observing employees to imitate them. What I'm trying to say is, we can't just treat it like some dumb, scary monster. Even now, it could be strolling about wearing the shell of someone we know. The abnormality is becoming more and more like a human. The transformation is getting faster, too. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. If it comes a time where we fail to recognize it, that will be the day this company falls. We must stay ever vigilant when dealing with this abnormality. The following is a recording of the abnormal behavior an employee exhibits in their last moments after they become nothing there. Manager! Manager! Man, you've been looking for the manager quite a while now. You're acting really weird today, too, you know? That weird smile and all. Anyhow, I'm sure we hope we get pasta in the cafeteria for dinner today. I'd love some of that. With thick bacon. No, we just got an emergency notice. Says the last employee to work with nothing there should get to the counselor's office immediately. Wait, wasn't that you? Hey, say something. Manager! 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 The second employee proceeded to take immediate action upon hearing that. However, nothing there tore out of the shell of the first employee, revealing its beginning form. The recording only includes audio files, so what exactly happened or what kind of behavior exhibited by the employee still remains a mystery. The shell with nothing there inside tries its best to mimic the behavior of the employee it tried to kill moments ago. The actions of the last employee it eyed, their final words, those sorts of things. And the many shells cried out one word. Manager. Now it's Letitia, the stuffed doll, similar to a child in size and always maintaining a bright smile. A very adorable little kid. They call me an adorable little kid because I am a small and lovely child. The kid comes from a place far, far away. The kid meets someone she likes, she'll give them a gift made all by herself. The gift's content is a secret, though. This is another really, really important secret, but the kid has lots of talents. This girl has many friends, but they said she can't bring them here. She was so sad she had to leave their dear friends behind, so she came up with a brilliant idea. If I cover up my friends nicely and make it look like a gift, everyone will be surprised. They'll all laugh together over my prank. Whoops! There goes the secret of the gift. I hope to find lots of friends here too. The kid is shy, so the gift will be given in secret. Farewells are sad, so I hope we can play more. And the people here don't smile. That looks so gloomy. So this little lady has made a decision. Stay here and never leave until laughter is restored to this place. I'll be happy if everyone is pleased with my pranks. I think it's Bugs. Hello, Retort. Welcome aboard. You're just in time for us to burn this place down. A large, many-eyed bird that patrols the dark forest with an everlasting lamp. Big Bird. Unlike regular birds, it lacks wings and has long arms instead, with which it can pick things up. Omitted would stare at anyone it found, young or old, and bite their head off. There is a tale of a beast that lies in the deepest, darkest parts of the forest, who dazzles creatures away to never be seen again. To protect all creatures from the beast. Yes, we did, and it only cost our everything. The big bird burned all of its feathers to make a wick, and then made a lamp that would burn forever. With this eternally lit lamp, Big Bird wandered the forest, warning the creatures not to stray too deep into the trees. Thanks to this large bird, fewer creatures fell victim to the beast of the forest. However, it was still concerned for the creatures that were still being killed by the beast. An idea struck Big Bird's mind. If I kill the creatures first, then no one will be killed by the beast. Since then, only rumors of a beast that would bite your head off flew around the dark forest. It is said that the beast carefully examines and stares at its victims to see if they are the beast that lures helpless creatures away. Oh, absolute lost irony. It's actually fantastic. This is a tale from a town in the redacted area. We heard the tale from the town's oldest inhabitant, redacted. Although there is a general assumption that this tale was told to prevent children from entering the forest, it is uncertain who first inherited the tale. We can't do anything while the abnormality has its eyes open. It stares intently, and as it keeps staring, this is why we need to put it to sleep first. We can only begin working when all of the numerous dozens of eyes have entered into its slumber. And as it turns out, the tale was not made up. We could find this large bird in the forest. Right after that, we tried to look for the beast that dazzles people. We searched through every nook and cranny of the forest, investigated every single creature in detail. A month later, we came to the conclusion, there's no such beast in the forest, only that big bird. The abnormality is completely ignorant to the common perception of death. The abnormalities that reside in this corporation can be placed in two different categories. The first is those who understand perfectly well the concept of meaning and death and will attack our staff with the intent to kill. The second are those aware of the concept of death, but without any malicious intent. This abnormality would have been contained here fits into neither of those two categories. To this bird, death itself is salvation. If it ripped off the head of a poor little girl who got lost in the forest, there was no mistake, malice, or murder. It just thinks it saved the girl from the beast. The booking clerk, who remains dauntingly quiet, sells tickets for a train with no final destination. There are no clocks to alert the arrival time, instead only blinking lights. The first and second lights illuminate, your mind clears. The third light illuminates, your mind clears and your wounds close. The fourth light illuminates. The condition of every employee and every department improves as you hear the train's horn off in the distance. When the time comes, the train will chug down the tracks and sound its mighty horn. There is no doubt that it will plunge through the endless tunnel while boarding the employees who have not taken a step back from the tracks. Now we have the Night of Despair, an abnormality of despair that has gone through a repeated cycle of faith and betrayal, leaving only the emotions that is expressed through black tears. A hero of the past who used to be a guardian of justice. She dedicated her entire life to protecting the king, the state, the city, and the weak. The knight had to uphold the laws of God and the pursuit of valor, chivalry, and justice. However, after a long history fraught with hardship and conflict, the knight realized in retrospect that nothing was truly upheld on her watch. The truth changed a lot of people. One who fought for good became evil upon realizing that there was no evil left in the world. One who dreamed of a world where everyone could be happy was tinged with greed and started to devour everything. Like them, so many things once thought to be forever constant, faced changes and perished. Who said that a knight never cries? Have you ever seen the tears brought out by despair, not sadness? The endless stream of grief has long turned the eye sockets into hollow husks, and inside, black diamonds sometimes rain down like ashes. The will to protect seems to remain unchanged after all this time. Even in containment, it is still obsessed with the act of protection. All that remains is the hollow pride of a weathered knight. The tenacity of the hero who cannot leave the past behind is a pitiful sight. When justice turned its back once more, several dozen blades will rove without a purpose. In shame of failing to defend once again, and in rage against the world, the swords will eventually point at those she could not protect. The knight who wanted to redeem herself by saving the others is now dishonorably called the Night of Despair, forgotten from the memory of the people just like the others. Big and will-be-bad wolf, an abnormality in the shape of a wolf with sparsely damaged fur. It is bipedal and capable of communication to some extent. It always attempts to devour employees or breach, but such actions are easily preventable, since it shows obvious signs in behavior and conversation before doing so, making this abnormality easy to manage. The incident on the day of Redacted was an alerting event for many employees. The moment Red Riding Hood ran into the wolf, the situation spiraled out of control. Prevent the two from meeting at all costs. Considering the potential damage it may cause, it could be a wise decision to sacrifice a few employees just to divert their attention away from each other. He had flesh for the first time in a long while, and its taste was so good. In the corner of his eye, a familiar piece of red cloth stood out from the wardrobe. He may or may not have seen it before, but he didn't really care about it. Since then it got harder and harder to keep himself in check. Still, it didn't matter to him. After all, he was destined to be a big bad wolf. There may be lots of stories here, but no story is as disgusting as the role the wolf plays. It is a sin to be born as a wolf. No one cared about a wolf's name. It has to be called the Big Bad Wolf. So, all wolves are raised to become giant, ferocious, hairy monsters. Wolves could not eat other animals even if they were starving. Wolves could not cross the line when doing bad things, and wolves had to be punished. Wolves always needed to be an example. Wolves could not make friends with anyone. The Burrowing Heaven, a thorny abnormality that feeds on the gaze of others and sometimes stretches its wings. Don't look away, just keep your eyes on it. It lives inside your gaze. This containment is but a facade. Contain it in your sight. Blinking is okay. It'll tolerate this brief moment of disruption. However, once it recognizes that it has lost your attention and focus, it will spread its wings. Yes, wings. As if to praise a long-forgotten god, its lean, bloody wings will stretch out and cover the whole corridor. The wings still bear fruit, using fresh corpses as food. If it still fails to gain your attention, the stalks will pierce your facility and grow towards a sunny spot. Like an angel, its wings reach the skies and extend toward the ground, eventually blotting out the sun. But there is still hope. When you finally turn your eyes and bring it within your cognizance, it will return to this deep subterranean area. That is, if you manage to survive by then. That's what a gaze is. Attention, an invisible string that connects us. Sole focus. Do not come here. There's no place for you to rest. Is this what you wanted to see? When your tears dry up at long last, tell me your answer. My opinion on bell bottoms? Wear what you like. I feel like most clothing can be made to look good as long as, you know, the person wearing it just gives it a shot. I'm not the kind that's gonna be like, ew, you're wearing this? Why? The dimensional refraction variant was a strange phenomenon. It was a phenomenon in and of itself. There was nothing within the unit that could be detected with the naked eye. Just like those who had made similar claims some time ago, just because something cannot be seen does not mean it doesn't exist. The containment unit's square length was XXX meters, and this is the cognitive range of the abnormality. The only advice that can be given is to remain cautious and aware of your surroundings. Breathing will become impossible while within range of the abnormality. The area will become a vacuum. Strictly speaking, the abnormality itself is a vacuum phenomenon. Record of the death of employee Chomsky. There was no way to confirm if the abnormality had left his containment unit or not. All of a sudden, Chomsky stopped in the middle of the corridor and just stood there. The hallway was busy at the time, with many a person passing by. Of course, many of these people expressed their discontent for having part of the hallway blocked. Then, all of a sudden, Chomsky's body suddenly rose 3 meters into the air. His arms and legs were awkwardly stretched out, just as if he was being crucified. If his legs had still been on the ground, he might have looked as if he were performing in some elegant play or doing ballet. Everyone in the hallway stopped to look at him. Then Chomsky started to scream. He screamed like a madman who had witnessed something horrifying. Nobody knew what to do. Some of our employees attempted to pull Chomsky down by the legs. He didn't budge. After that, Chomsky stopped screaming. A short silence followed, and Chomsky opened his mouth, attempting to mutter something. The 2 employees who were trying to pull Chomsky down started to scream. Blood poured down from his body. His arms and legs separated, leaving his limbless body floating in the air. All hell broke loose in a hallway and everyone began running. How to recognize this abnormality is a matter that needs to be discussed further. Currently, we are researching ultraviolet technology that may be able to detect this abnormality using the eyes of a shrimp, but performance so far from satisfactory. For now, a good method is to have employees entering its containment unit bring a glass cup filled halfway with water. They will need to plant this cup on the floor while working. If the cup begins to slosh, threatening to spill over, the employee must stop working and leave the unit immediately. Well, I mean, for a more concrete answer on my part, I'm not really the biggest fan of wearing them personally. I prefer my pants into more fitting into things. Another backer abnormality, melting love. A melting slime with a resemblance to humans when inspected closely. Its containment unit is covered in its mucus secretions. Today I'd like to talk about an incident that everyone has heard of. That's right, that dreadful incident when an army of slimes took over our facility for redacted minutes. There were several containers left in a redacted lab which were not processed properly during our experiment related to redacted. If you know about the redacted experiment, you would know already that the contents of these containers are merely useless leftovers that only prove the experiment has failed. Our researchers felt there was no need to dispose of them. It was obvious that one newbie to the research team had no idea what was inside those containers. Employee Marie found the containers of pink slime and felt that they could pose a threat. It is assumed that she was thoroughly concealed and kept them in redacted status. If my assumption is correct, the melted object in those containers was probably the redacted of redacted. I became sure of this when I read the passage describing its appearance as that of an adolescent human. I don't know if it was fortunate for us or not, but its memories, including those of the experiments, were completely gone. It could barely speak a word or two. It's also mentally unstable and became extremely nervous whenever Marie was not present. A brother. Marie had a brother whom she lost during childhood. It all started when she felt an attachment to the childlike pink slime that followed her around. Marie showed an unprecedented level of decrease in her mental corruption. Indeed, it was extremely unusual. Of course, it was certain the abnormality had somehow affected her in a positive way, but that was the end of the benefits. Her colleagues started noticing her odd behaviors. They tried to ask her about them. It was the right thing to do, after all. They were educated about the potential implications of a steep decrease in mental corruption levels, and understood that a person disappearing every single break time is a dangerous sign. However, Marie did not say a word to them and ended up detained in the counseling room until she opened up. Meanwhile, the slimy creature that had forgotten everything instinctively remembered one thing. It had to get out of the facility, no matter what. The abnormality once again felt extremely nervous when Marie did not show up on time. Thought that she was in danger. It was then that she decided to escape with her. A rare bond had formed between the two. They cared about each other from the bottom of their hearts. Confined within the counseling room, Marie eventually gave up her right to remain silent and began to reveal what she had done, how she kept the contents inside the container, and how she was able to form a bond with it. However, she couldn't finish her words. This was because she melted in the blink of an eye, moments after signs of an anomaly showed up on her skin. Yes, she quite literally melted in her entirety, and that wasn't the end of it. The slime that was once Marie a few seconds ago began to move. It wasn't a difficult task for a fluid creature to slide under the door of the counseling room. Did it have a speck of human rationality? No. Just like a newborn duckling blindly following its mother, it simply moved towards the abnormality. And it wasn't just Marie that turned to slime. Every single employee who had made contact with her in some way began to melt as well. Those who were questioning her, who shared a meal with her, who had worked together. Soon the slime army began to attack other employees, all for the mother slime, the abnormality that they loved. Yes, out of love and love alone, they killed. And my dear employees, I do hope you didn't forget to put on the gas mask we distributed to you before you re-entered, did you? I do hope no one took them off out of boredom or stuffiness. I must inform you all that some of you are already infected by the slime I told you about. We did not give gas masks to some of you, and we did say that it was because we are out of stock. But to be truthful, it was just so we could distinguish between those who were infected and those who were not. You may feel fine now, but before the hour passes, your flesh and bones will start to melt, and your mind will disintegrate to a pitch-black nothing. Then you will begin trying to wreak havoc on the facility. You'll probably, as your first action in your new form, jump at the employee sitting right next to you, all for this mess of slime that you so adore. Yes, I know. It's unbelievable. You feel so alive and clear now. Just how on earth could you melt down into slime? And yet you will. It's not your fault, of course. Someone among you made contact with the slime abnormality, and you were just the unlucky sap who happened to be around that person. It's meaningless now to determine patient zero. I doubt they had any idea how catastrophic the results of their actions would be. I doubt they had any idea how catastrophic the results of their... Huh, they repeated that line twice. They did it out of pure affection, after all. Finally, those uninfected who are still wearing masks, please ensure you pay extra attention to your hygiene and immediately report when you see an employee acting out of the ordinary. You'll simply be infected as well if you attempt to help them. Now in your desks, there will be 9mm pistols, perfectly locked and loaded. What you must do now should be clear. We will not open the doors until the situation is taken care of. And if you think this too cruel, allow me to remind you, this is your job. I hope to see you again once everything has been handled. The Heart of Aspiration. A heart without an owner. It still beats even after being removed from its body. When borrowed, its rate of contraction will double, enhancing the borrower's vigor and strength. Excessive aspiration brings about unwarranted frenzy. Employees who did not attack any targets before returning the heart, or those who returned the heart before 30 minutes had passed, entered a state of derangement, repeating mindless killings with enhanced strength. Oh geez, Queen Bee has a lot. Its form appears to be an amalgamation of a giant beehive and a bee. A cross-section of the inside shows a darkish red surface with particles here and there, much like that of raw meat. The segment that appears to be the face is heavily distorted. It has wings, but they have lost their intended function of flight. The one eye that remains relatively intact shows pupillary movement, as if to watch for approaching intruders. The abnormality always remains still, so it's assumed that it does not move. When certain conditions are met, it releases spores. It will generate billions of spores within a 20-minute radius. The existence of life forms in its vicinity seems to be one of the key requirements. When it did, there was no immediate change in the employees who inhaled the spores, and no anomalous signs could be detected on the examinations that followed. Once more time had passed, the employee experienced a severe pain in their occipital lobe and abdomen. Then after a certain period of time, their head dislodged from their body, and a worker bee emerged from the separated body. It has been confirmed that the spores carry drone eggs, which will hatch inside of a living host. Based on the findings of an autopsy done on an employee killed by this abnormality, we believe the larva will subsist on any portion of the body, blood, organ, or fat. It will move around freely around the body at this stage. When it becomes too large to move, it contains a cocoon near the intestines. The host feels extreme hunger at this stage, eating far more than usual. The cocoon moves upwards through the body as it grows, eventually damaging the arteries of the throat and the cricothyroid with its jaws as it severs the host head from the body. After this, it emerges, exacerbating the host's wounds further. Redacted's been telling me about his itchy neck for a while. He complained about indigestion too. One time I saw him take a bunch of digestives. Who'd have thought it would turn out to be such a serious issue? I never knew I'd be the one to witness that horrible moment. Redacted and I were just chatting, and then suddenly he stopped speaking. He was still scratching at his neck, turning so red, and I was getting worried. Then his neck started to turn at such a strange angle. Right then and there, I realized the severity of this situation. There's no way he could have been putting his neck that way on his own. It looked like someone was forcibly twisting it. And then I heard a zip, like the noise of shredding paper, a foreign sound of something tearing. His head fell to the floor and I heard a dull thud. Then, as if enough hadn't happened already, something began to crawl out of his neck. Just like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, tearing apart his headless body. The wings, the yellow trunk, teeth that gnawed away at his body. Something I never want to see again. A being I'd hate to describe as something alive. It seemed aware of me somehow. But it looked like it didn't have any reason to attack at that moment. It picked up his cranium and just flew away like a drone carrying honey. I can still hear the sound of its jaw rattling and its wings beating. The worker bee is clearly different from Queen Bee, other than color. It is capable of flight, but can only hover about a meter off the ground. It lacks antennae or eyes. A long appendage that appears to be an intestine drags behind its rear onto the floor. Worker bees show two forms of behavior: delivering nutrients to the queen and proliferating. Upon encountering an employee, it uses its jaw to crush their head and then proceeds to inject the pupa into their body. Alright, we've seen basically everything this facility has to offer. Basically. But there's one thing I want to do before we go. Well, two things I want to do. I guess really three. Firstly, behold the final department. As well as a preview of some abnormalities we'll be seeing later on. A tree. And a bunch of little Dutch boys. Ugh. Little Dutch boys. No. But who cares about the requirements of the day? Have I noticed? What am I noticing? I noticed that the trumpet music is playing. I noticed that this is the Lobotomy Corp office. Yeah. We're in the endgame now. Check my top departments. My top departments seem fine, thank you very much. I know what you're trying to let me know about, but that's tomorrow, not today. Good check, though. You fucking nerd. How many more times do I have to poke this freaking thing? I swear. This better be the last poke you need, backwards clock. No? Ray, get down here. This is such a jammable beat. Interesting how this half is completely pitch black, while this half is very well lit. There we go. Oh, it was nothing. Only level 5 employees can operate the backward clock normally, and it sends all but the operator to the most peaceful time of the day. I'm not starting the ending. Rather, I'm doing one more thing before, you know. Justice level lower than level 4. Quit Lipoth decreases. Okay, let's see how this works. said Keter, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, no, that did not work how I wanted it to. I'm gonna actually have to send someone good down there to die. I swear. I was hoping that I could just push it off on Victor Tim. How the hell do you actually get nothing there as mechanic to work? Well, yeah, I do want to reset to day 1, and I'm not actually doing this day. I'm just trying to see nothing there. Because it has a really cool mechanic, and it'd be a disservice to you guys if you didn't at least get to see it. Okay, who's somebody that sucks at? Well, I have a lot of lob points to throw around. I think I need at least Justice 5. I want Justice 5, but shitty other stats. You know what? Nah, it's fine. Orang, get over here. And... not Mary, never Mary. You know what? Anton. So wait, finished work with Fortitude level 3 or lower? That's so weird. Why the hell would I work on an Aleph level abnormality with level Fortitude of 3 or lower? So fucking weird. But it's okay, I have lob points to spare. Why do I have 2 new emails? Ew, that's gross. Don't contact me. Okay, nothing important. Okay, Orang, Anton, you guys get here. I'm gonna give you good every other stat. And bad Fortitude. Don't disappoint me, Julian and Nox. I'm counting on you guys to suck, but not suck too hard. I require your medium suckage. Okay, common success. So I think there'll be a... well, we want it finished, right? So Julian, you go first. God, what a clunky mechanic for such an iconic abnormality. It's almost a bit of a shame. Up. Okay, he transformed. Look, it's Julian. Julian's okay, you guys. Well, I better send someone to go check on him. Come on, Nuts. See? Nothing bad happens here in Lobotomy Corp. Oh, that's Viscera, that's Viscera. You had 10 seconds to find the right employee, and if you don't, nothing there attacks. See, he was over there. And then he runs wild over the facility like Hulkamania. Alright, back to the main menu, guys. It's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for the end times. Agreed, River. It should have been easier to activate it because it's such a cool and iconic thing. And it's basically what defines nothing there more than is Meat Dog. But it's so hard to trigger. Anyway, we're going back to the first day. Come on, guys. Start a new game with all current abnormality observation levels. Burn it down! Nah, that was hard on my throat. I have been talking too much to do a good old scream. So we're going back to the past. Hey, I can re-extract. Nope, you can't escape Skull Jesus. Hello, X. I give you a warm welcome to Lobotomy Corporation. I am Angela, your advisor and secretary. My role as an AI is to assist you in adjusting to your new workplace. So please have no worry in speaking with me or asking any questions. Oh, I have to hear this retort. Tell me. It's a pretty name for an AI, wouldn't you think? I was born from one of the wings of the world. It signifies that I am one of the best to exist in this age. So have an abno in the cache when I reset. The cache won't be cleared. How do I get a cache? Oh, so basically pick an abnormality, then restart the game before it gets added to the facility. I know what you must be thinking. Your eyes show that you think I look too human to be an AI. Am I wrong? However, there is a great difference between us. I am bound here. I cannot go wherever I please like you. So theoretically, if I never selected to expand the architecture department, I would have the little Dutch boy and I would have the tree as my next two abnormalities. I may be able to operate the systems of this corporation to open a door or prepare a cup of coffee for you. But I cannot take a step outside of this building to bask in the sunlight or feel the gentle breeze. So I would have two facilities immediately and be stuck with a buggy set of little Dutch boys. I hate it. Now, in regards to my appearance, as you can see, the color of my hair is that of a Tumblr post for way too long of a scroll on your dashboard. The tone and shape of my voice is taken from the wisest person in the world, the person streaming this game. Lastly, my face is picturesque of the person who had the most beautiful smile. That's right, suck it, Mona Lisa. Ha! Don't worry, that was a joke. There can be no such person on this earth. That was probably what was running through A's mind after he realized he killed his co-worker, girlfriend, inspiration and/or reason to live? He probably thought all of that about her, until she died. My appearance was designed with attractiveness to the largest number of people possible in mind. If the way I look is pleasing to your eye, then I am working as intended. Moving on, artificial intelligence is much more efficient in comparison to humans in terms of multitasking. I am the best in a majority of work fields. I am able to handle the work of several dozen people at once. I'm certain many people have lost their jobs because of me. I am not sorry about that fact at all. Well, enough with introductions. Is there anything that you would like to know? How should I describe this in layman's terms? I heard that it took an enormous amount of time and effort to create me. All kinds of new algorithms and features were developed, describing a new chapter in the history of artificial intelligence, and I served the company. In search of a solution, we happened to stumble upon mysterious beings whom we've dubbed abnormalities. Then we figured out that energy could be harvested from these abnormalities via a special method. While AIs as a concept have become so commonplace that they are seen and used everywhere in this day and age, I am quite different in comparison to the rest of the pack. That is, I can closely imitate human emotions. This is not a simple task, as emotion is a highly sophisticated, originally biological system that is substantially more unpredictable and complex than any other. Along with other functions at my disposal, I will be your perfect partner. You have joined the company at an opportune moment, by the way. Lobotomy Corporation is always looking for ways to improve its harvesting processes. Our systems are continually updated to support this. Speaking of which, there was a new update to the system right before you arrived. That means that working conditions have been improved upon compared to those of your predecessors. Think of it as a small welcoming gift. Best of luck for us. I was just about to mention you. You don't understand the concept of patience, now do you? Oh, pardon my manners, manager. I was talking to one of the other AIs at work here. I should introduce her to you. Our facility is a huge one, and even I would have trouble managing it on my own. So someone determined that there should be an AI to assume head control of each department. If I were to be considered a cerebrum, they would be the cerebellum. Naturally, of course, I should be your most trustworthy and capable companion among all the AIs. I gotta record it for the VOD crew. I didn't start taking VODs until, like, way into LobCorp. Well then, shall we greet her now? The memories of all the Sephiroth are synchronized. Good day, manager. Would you like to expand the control department? Now we keep all of our buffs, right? Even if those departments aren't open yet, we keep all of the buffs for winning the day. Good. And with that, we have our first employee, Xiao. Hey, Alicia. Do you still have the design that you wanted me to use? If not, just give me some quick specs and I'll make it happen. Indeed we are, latest. Welcome back. How much lob did we make off with? Well, because it's a full reset, none. You don't keep full lob points when you reset after all, right? Is there a glasses option? But god, that is such a U design. Oh god, the soundtrack is crunching. I don't think the game liked being on the abnormality screen for so long. Okay, so that would be an ego gift. Okay, so you have swooshy bangs, and... not that swooshy. There we go, I think. Does this look sufficiently close? Oh wait, there's a lot of pigtail options, huh? Gotta find the right ones. Crunch, 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 crunch. I think I'll take some inspiration from one of your inspirations. Welcome to the world, big old nerd. Now, we don't have any lob points, but oh boy, look at all the ego gear we got away with. Naturally, I'll be starting you two off with the best gear I can get your hands on. There we go. Oh my god! So greedy! I guess me giving you the literal best gear I can get my hands on isn't good enough. You wanted even betterer gear. All for dealing with Skull Jesus. Who still has all of his boxes, by the way. Anyway, today is just a simple tutorial, so we can basically breeze through it. There is, like, literally no point to drawing it out. So let's get our first abnormality. Aw, I did. Aren't you glad? Does literally anything happen if we keep pushing? Like, I kind of want to get to the meltdown just to see what happens. Are we going to be able to spawn clowns, or is that just programmed to not happen? By the way, you are a cold-blooded senior, which is hilarious when you look like a complete another freaking Moe blob. But yeah, the early days are gonna speed by. Okay, so there's literally no point to dragging this out. Really? I forgot they take that long. So this is really just filling out Malkuth with a series of incredibly, like, easy tutorials. You know, if we're trying for whatchamacallit again, right? Like, if we want to get Apocalypse Bird this playthrough, I feel like I have to take Punishing Bird. Normally, I might not have done that, but again, we really want Apocalypse Bird. It's okay to have a bit of doubling down. Face the fear, build the future. That is the motto of our founder, the one whom we refer to as A. Tell me, if you had to choose one, what part of the motto do you prefer? The future is inevitable, but ever undecided. One may simply lie atop the sand of the future, or they may shape it with purpose. Lobotomy Corporation is an innovative company. The harvesting technologies we have discovered are such a... Please excuse my lack of vocabulary. Simply remarkable. These technologies could be the salvation of mankind. With these, we will mold the future, creating brand new paths. I know, right? But now that we've had our end times... what did I do? Okay, nothing. I hate it too, believe me. There we go. Did Mary have any, like, back hair? I don't think she did. This is the none option, not the too dark to see option, right? No, yeah, it's the too dark to see option. I can faintly make out a little wave. I already made that mistake once with Mr. Citrus. Now how the heck do I make brown? I think it was about this, right? Yes, there is. Check the Ace Custom option. Right, I am going to need to build up some love points before I can redeem all of these, but okay, Brim, you will be next. In fact, you know what? Waiting until you saw it. I see, I see. Shao, you can have the Cobalt Scar, and you can have, I don't know. What can he use? He can use Lamp. Whoever it was, don't worry, we get a lot of points here. Okay, so Brim, give me what you want. I love how we start this facility trying to get a fresh start with things we haven't seen before, and immediately Punishing Bird just comes running in. Cyan, short hair, nothing in the back. Is this a good level of Cyan? Let me know if this is good to you, Brim. Do, 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 do. What other short is there? You can have the anime boy, the Android 18, the pineapple head, the space buns, the mop, the shag, the Apollo Justice Attorney at Law, the bulb, the cyberpunk lesbian, the other bowl, the poo swirl, the dreads, the ocean, whatever that is. Number 12, alright. Welcome to the world, Brim. Let's get you geared up. I'm gonna put you in Lamp because it has high requirements. That means it's better. And as for weapon, we have 2 reds, so let's put you in either a white or a black. Yeah. And now you live. And now Punishing Bird is here. No ordeals, and we're all too high level to grind much off of this, unfortunately. You might as well get a little in, you know? Damn, Punishing Bird packs a punch at this juncture. The music is lagging a little bit, unfortunately. I think I had the game open so much that the memory rot has set in a little. Yeah. Lobotomy Corporation is not, I believe, a game that likes to be played. Once I work everybody on Punishing Bird, I think we'll be good. Who hasn't worked one sin yet? Mary worked one sin, Brim worked one sin, Big Ol' Nerd worked one sin. Have I really just been neglecting Shao? Well, Shao is both not a member of the chat and not a reincarnated member of the old pantheon, so it only makes sense. Yeah, these days are flying by. And yeah, I don't think the game likes being open for this time when stuff is happening. And I was just idling on the abnormality menu, so stuff is happening was kind of not. Day 3, 2 new ones. She was so talkative before, yet in the end, loneliness was the only listener, and somewhere in the distance, you can hear seagulls. Are either of these two Kino, or should I re-extract? Because I want to make sure I'm getting, if I'm starting from scratch, I'm getting the good shit, you know? You know, quality. So seagulls, talkative, or refresh. Fairy Festival is foreboding. We have no need for it anymore. They're both safe, but are any of them like good grinders for this level? I'm not saying throw me right into freaking Plague Doctor and Army in Black, but I can handle a okay, the seagulls are funny. Haha, funny seagulls. Greetings, manager. It marks 3 days now that you have worked here. The number 3 is a mysterious one. In age-old fables, it is common for a mysterious entity to appear and tell the protagonist to utter 3 wishes. Sadly, I am not a mage or a billionaire who can grant your wishes. However, I do happen to know what your predecessors wished for. There were many aspirations. Common among them was the seeking of some kind of growth. To lead the company to prosperity, to achieve spiritual maturity, you name it, each had wanted to flower in a different way. Which of those 2 would you want? Come to think of it, there was another manager who— Of course there was, Angela! You literally just told me there was! As you know, spiritual is a rather obsolete term in today's world, so I asked him for the definition of a spirit, and that manager told me. Well, I unfortunately do not recall the details of that conversation. Even an AI cannot store every bit of data. Unnecessary information should be deleted for smooth operation. So, you may be asking yourself if your predecessors managed to fulfill their wish? I suppose what happened to the others isn't important after all. I do promise to cheer you on for the journey to your final goal, though. Yeah, she knows so freaking much. We are playing this entire game knowing how much she knows, and also not really getting to know Malkuth at all because we kind of already resolved Malkuth's entire deal. Which is making the days pass by even faster, honestly. Well, with a flock of seagulls introduced to our facility, we do have spot for one more employee. And we are going to pick... We are going to pick only the noble and most dependable possible entry that we can... Oh. Oh no, what's this? Oh no. This isn't a dependable employee at all. Oh no, folks. Folks. He's back. Yeah, this mouth. That's right, guys. Mr. Citrus, the phantom of the train itself, has returned to us. Of all the employees that we could have brought back, that's right, I'm bringing back Mr. Citrus. And now he has a gun. That's right, we got some real Shadow the Hedgehog shit going on in this house. I'm gonna begin management, and then yeah. I am going to quit game. I was just starting management to make sure that at the very least, we saved Mr. Citrus. God damn it, I am all of me. Who dares tag me? Okay, it's just plans for a Brazilian steakhouse for a friend's birthday. This is a matter deserving of tagging me. But yes, Mr. Citrus is back, and unlike most of the gods of the old timeline, he is a phantom. He is the phantom of the train. The original Train Toucher General. He's back. And now we have seagulls and, what? Okay, whenever we're testing a new abnormality, we're sending in Mr. Citrus first to see if it McFucking kills him. We don't need to work any of the other- Holy shit, the game is running so much smoother, guys. It is honestly absurd how much of a difference this is making. Ooh, Mr. Citrus like. Red and white are very high. Big ol' nerd, I choose you! I forgot how smooth this game looks when you're looking at it up close. Oh my god. You're so excited, you nerd. See, this is why I named you what you are. Purple is common. Upon completion of the work process, a canned beverage is discharged from the vending machine. The type of beverage emitted varies in correlation with the work type. A red can is emitted. The employee who ingested the beverage says it has a distinctive aroma and sweetness and expressed a feeling of heightened energy. Following the test, the physical health of the subject was confirmed. Test 2. A blue can is emitted. It contains an odorly liquid, highly carbonated, effective in restoring mental strength. Oh wow, Mr. Sodi actually seems really useful. Mary, God of War, we're gonna need you to check out the red drink. Ooh, that was a bit of a rough one. W3, a purple drink is emitted. Its appearance, composition, and taste are exactly the same as other grape-flavored carbonated beverages. Both physical and mental strains recover. Caution, when the work result is bad, do not drink. And we can get the soda suit from it. Okay, so this is just a Zayn. But it's also our best red trainer right now, while Punishing Bird may well be our best white trainer. Open can of Welch's. Oh my god, it's like Welch's grape juice, except it's not. Why is it being staffed by shrimp? Why are there seagulls? Why does soda taste like the ocean? It is a non-escaping entity, and oh my god, it gives gun. Now, part of me feels like we are not currently at the point where we need to care about, like, equipment, because all of this equipment is for fucking jobbers. But at the same time, it exists, and therefore I want. Besides, this isn't gonna take long. Unless Punishing Bird gets pissy. Shower soon! And a freshly opened soda! Yeah, just on a conceptual level alone, I honestly love this one so much. Yeah, we literally cannot get meltdowns yet because of how many things we have. This is honestly nuts. And we can literally finish this abnormality in the span of a single day. Oh, I think Punishing Bird's about to lose his shit. Okay, I got really scared when I saw the uncontrollable pop back up, and then I was like, wait, no. Parasite Tree cannot handle me. Parasite Tree cannot hurt me anymore. I am safe from him. And with that, day complete. No level ups, even with grinding that really didn't seem to do much, but hey. A little bit of soda never hurt anybody. And we did just get 7 flippin' lob points, so I'll take that. She's just enjoying her sody. You are a nerd. No, not taking we can change anything again. Save us now and forevermore, the truth shall set us free, and those betrayed hearts sank into the depths, slowly forgotten in the ever-lengthening corridors of time. Are any of these two colossal pains in the ass to deal with? Meat grinder, I don't like the sound of that. If both of these two absolutely suck eggs to deal with, I will re-extract. Otherwise, I'll pick whichever one is either the most useful or the least pain in the butt. I am not taking we can change anything. I hate that guy. And then after this abnormality pick, I'm probably going to hop off just because it is, like, past the usual starting time. It is kind of late. One sends me to Brazil, the other is from EA. No, I don't want to go to Brazil. If they both suck, I can refresh. That is always an option. It depends on the era of EA. God knows they go through cycles of being mostly shit, kind of shit, or very shit. I would honestly take EA over Activision currently. In fact, I feel like overall EA has been pretty quiet in the news cycle while Activision has been sitting on the floor messily shitting its pants, loudly and explosively. Like, I'm trying to think when the last time I've heard about EA being shitty. Just like so many other companies have taken the news spotlight from them. They need to start sucking harder to get back into it. Yes, these are the kinds of amazing derails I have while I wait for Suki to look up which abnormality I should not subject myself to. 90 is okay and can be used safely, but makes certain abnormalities more dangerous to deal with. I can live with that. Do you take pride in what you do here? If not, this recent news will likely change your mind. After your arrival, the rate of energy output has increased by 13%. If you still don't feel the significance of this figure, then let me add that this is a record-breaking percentage. How do you feel? Ever since you began working here, the company has been taking strides in improvement. This means you are performing your role well. This shows that there should only be good news to come. A machine such as myself does not flatter easily. It's good to know that you're happy with your work. I remember your face the very first time you came here. You were so withdrawn. Face all gray and grim. And you were all nervous about my presence. Don't worry, it's okay for you to be happy now. Today's a rather special day. You see that bottle of champagne on the table? Allow me to pour you a glass. Shall we toast? Today's occasion is not something as monumental as someone's birthday, or the company's day of founding. You lost an employee for the first time yesterday. In fact, many more shall follow. I'm telling you this just in case you were unexpectedly shocked by the news. They had known the risks from the beginning. The company grows fertilized by their sacrifices. It's as simple as that. I am sure they would have felt proud of themselves as they took their final breath. Accepting their death with equanimity would be the greatest respect you can pay to them. That is why I popped this bottle of champagne I've kept for so long. 3 cheers for the deceased, in memoriam of their noble sacrifices. Hell yeah, I'll drink to that. Allow me to give you a small bit of advice. To properly drink a glass of champagne, one should gently hold the lower stem of the glass and then take it in lightly, savoring the bubbles. Perfect, perfect. Just like that. Yeah, I think we just opened a free space, or maybe I'm misremembering. We have Shao, Mary, Mr. Citrus, Big Nerd. Oh yes, and Brim. Goodbye, Shao. You're being demoted. Alright, what would you like, latest? See ya! Bing, bing, dum, ding, dong. Green hair, long in the back. Now that's what I call long hair. Three partitions in the front with a bit of hair sticking out. This one? Cool. Any eye preference, or is that dealer's choice? I don't know why, this just looks hilarious to me. Alrighty, welcome to the team. Let's get you suited up. And equipped. Haha, poor Shao is just in standard gear. Alright, we're gonna begin management now. And this is what we have to look forward to next time we play and book. But that's next time. Because for today, we are all done. Again, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for joining me in torching our old facility to the ground. Next few days we start playing, we are going to be blitzing through the early game. But that's next time. Do I want to raid, or is it a little late at night? Let me see. Let me see what kind of environment we're dealing with here. Not a lot of people I particularly follow her on, but let's see who's live. Oh, hey, this guy again. Yeah, alright, I can raid him. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope you all have a great night.